Okay, we are back once again. I always seem to start these games by saying "heck-ay" in some weird tone of voice. I don't quite know why. So this is going to be a fun one. We've got a lovely cast of players who I will get to in a second. But the thing is, these three very talented characters have already been through some initial auditions. And guess who they're auditioning for? Yes, indeed. So everybody, you are sitting in a waiting room. It is a nice, but it's simply furnished room with posters of Dodo Studio movies lining the walls in large, shiny glass frames. Half of them are directed by DJ Moves, but you're on the other half of the room, which has posters which were directed by the man who you are here to audition for today, the engineer. So, one by one, from top to bottom, as is tradition, can you introduce yourself and your character, and how they are feeling? Like, why do they want to be here today?
Do I start?
Yep, you're top of the list.
Alright, hi, I'm Staria, and I'm playing March. He is a lawful good barbarian, and basically one of the reasons he wants to work for the engineer is that, well, he wants a job, he needs the money, and also he kind of needs the money. That's the main reason.
That's a very good, honest reason.
Hello, I'm Luis, and you will know me as Tobias yet again. And well, it's simple. Tobias is here because that's literally his dream, to be an actor, and to be able to audition to be part of one of the engineers' movies, like the best thing possible for him. So everyone who is in the room right now can see he's totally purple because, yes, as I said in my first game, he's a color wheel. So yeah, light purple for now, but don't be surprised if it starts getting darker and darker.
Oh, bless. For those who haven't met this lovely character before, he changes colour depending on how he's feeling, and the darker...
That is adorable.
Yeah, and the darker and more intense the colour is, the more intense the emotion. So, yeah, Tobias is having a time, huh? Oh, bless. And finally, we have...
Lucky Jack, a one-legged, nicely dressed, and perfectly trustworthy character who, partially he smells money in this, and partially he wants to get his face nice and plastered on like a big screen.
You may get one of those things, you may not get the other. Also, this wonderful person is being played by Cranky, who is amazing, and I am like the biggest fan of their art. They are just amazing. You'll probably know them from Colin, if you've listened to previous Toonkind games. Amazing quality. Okay, so yeah, you're all in this waiting room in various states of anticipation, and it's nicely decorated with movie paraphernalia. There's framed photographs of group shots of the crew and also the posters. Can I ask, like, how big a fan your individual characters are of the engineers? This will be helpful in later things as well.
Well, March was very inspired by the engineer, due to actually not his movies, but his fighting, because he saw him fight on the Mr. Zipper, like on the Taffy Train reunion thing, and that inspired him.
Oh,
and that's backstory stuff. So I'm not gonna bore you all by saying it.
It's very emotional. It's very sad. I love this character's backstory. It's very nice. But in terms of like, yeah, do you know any of the engineers' movies? That's the practical answer I need.
Like, vaguely.
Vaguely. Okay, that's helpful. Yeah, and you two?
Tobias is a fan of action movies and mystery movies, so obviously he really likes the engineers. And as I said in the first game yet again, that's where you learned how to swear. He saw many of the Engineers movie. He saw a lot.
Such a bad influence on this precious baby. Oh no. Okay, well that's great. Lucky Jack, how
He's
about...
not a baby.
He's baby. Absolutely baby.
I think Jack has only ever really seen the movies with one eye, heard it with one floppy ear. But from what little he has seen, I think he liked it.
Okay,
It's like
okay.
nice and flashy with explosions.
Yeah,
So
we do like those explosions. Okay, that's good. So, yeah, some of the Engineer's most famous titles are instantly recognizable to all of you, even if you haven't seen them, because they're, like, famous. So there's, like, The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky up there, The Majestic 11, Temple of Gloom, that kind of stuff. But there are some more obscure works from his early years, which, Tobias, you probably recognize, but the other two you probably don't, like The Camera Bird and City Fights. Between some of these, however, there are newly added pictures, mostly done on cheap printer paper in crayon. Many of them seem to feature the same set of 5 characters, but there are also ones that are just simply an array of tiny 3-clawed paw prints made in paint. They're very cute. On a table in front of you, more importantly, there is a bowl of fruit and some complimentary drinks. Curiously, 3 of them have been placed in vials which have stoppers. Closer scrutiny may show you that these are health potions. Perhaps related, alarmingly, you can just make out the sound of muffled roars, gargantuan footsteps, and frantic screams from behind a set of large double doors to the left of the main reception desk.
Oh dear.
What do you
Tobias
do?
is not surprised.
Why do I hear Bob music?
So what do you do? Do you take any of those health potions?
Sure. How many health potions are there?
There's 3 of them.
Then I'll take one.
Oh, I'm taking one. Not taking any changes.
Jack swipes one, and you said there was fruit too?
Yeah?
Yeah, Jack's munching on it.
Unfortunately, you very quickly discover that the fruit is wax. So,
Yes.
bit of a comedy scene for that. However,
He chews on it anyway.
yeah, if you look very closely at these health potions, you'll notice that it says homebrew.org is the place that they have ordered these from. And these are homebrew health potions because I have a pet peeve with health potions, which is like you can roll really badly and heal for like absolutely nothing, which sucks, and it takes your entire action. So how these ones are going to work as a sort of tester to see if people like this, if you use this health potion as a bonus action, you do the usual roll, so you do 2d4 plus 4, and I'll remind you when and if you use it for a bonus action. But if you use your entire action to drink this health potion, it automatically heals you for the full amount. How's that?
Nice.
Yeah? Okay. Well, that's how these ones work, so just keep that in mind, just in case. Okay, so after a short amount of time, an owl leans into the room from behind the large double doors to the left, and the roaring gets a bit louder because you can see a crack through the door. It signals for you to be quiet before saying in very hushed tones,
The engineer is just finishing a scene, but he asked me to let you in while recording is ongoing, so if you'll follow me, but to please be very, very quiet.
and I need you all to roll stealth.
Uh-oh.
First roll
What
of the
is
game.
my stealth then? Where's my stealth?
It's stuck.
My stealth is +1, great.
Remember what your-
There it is.
Where do I roll?
If you go into the
game
game
zone?
zone,
Oh, okay.
it's fine. If you accidentally roll in a different channel, as long as I know what the number is, it's fine. But I stay in the game zone so I can concentrate, because the Chestnut Gallery, where people watch, is great fun, but I get distracted. Ooh!
Oh, nice. I got it. Oh, no.
Oh my!
Great!
Oh, this is great.
This is awesome!
Okay, so in order, we have Lucky Jack who rolled a 21. So you know, very fitting with your kind of character. You just sort of do the classic cartoon sneak. It's a very graceful line of action, and you just utterly silently work your way into the studio. March, you
He's
try.
just walking normally, I think.
Yeah, you try, but you like get snagged on something, and the result of this is not only that you make a noise, but bless your soul, Tobias, you were right behind him, and you basically fall over March, and
Oh no!
you do the classic crash into a ladder, which sets off a bucket, which sets off something else, and it all ends with like somehow there's a car hubcap even that goes rolling up and clatters to the floor. So you make a colossal entrance. Fortunately, most of it gets covered up by the scene that's being recorded, because you come into this extraordinary scene where there is a half-size, like, you know, the buildings are about half the height of a Larry, let's say, and there are tiny people running around in this tiny city, and a huge lizard thing, and it's completely black with this glowing sort of cyan mouth that's sending out blasts of icy air, just and it's like boom.
Sorry.
Yeah, and all the buildings are breaking, and it's amazing, and there are cameras and lights around, but yeah, that's what you come in to see. And this monster is big. It's like twice the size of a Larry, which is quite a sizable cartoon for those who do not know.
So it's not the engineer in a costume.
Well, anyway, the scene continues, despite two of you getting some rather sour looks from people who are working backstage, especially the owl who let you in, because he's just like, oh my god, why did you do that? It's like almost wheezing.
Quiet.
Can March help Tobias get up?
Oh yeah, absolutely, that's lovely. Okay.
Tobias is full dark purple right now.
Oh, bless.
You can see
Mark
them,
pats his
but
head.
he's horrified.
March is like, sorry, it was my fault.
Yeah, Lucky Jack, how are you feeling about this amazing disaster, like, directly behind you?
He snickers.
Good. Yeah, the scene continues for a short amount, and then the monster says, "Cut! Great, okay, get the fire extinguishers," and they come on set, and the little people all disappear, and this was someone casting silent image with a Foley track. And this gigantic lizard monster coughs a few times, and these icy blasts disappear as a rather magical looking, you suspect it's a sorcerer, owl, dispels whatever spell he'd cast, it was dragon breath, on this person. And the lizard shrinks, and turns from black to orange. And this was a sort of doubled up effect of someone having cast enlarge on the engineer and his own brand of disguised self. And this tiny, very famous, fiery orange creature walks towards you and beams. He looks so happy to see you all, and he says, well, welcome to my studio. Quite an entrance that you made there. You must be the fresh meat.
March is absolutely like apologizing, just like, I'm sorry, I capped all the noise, I'm sorry.
He doesn't seem too put out. He seems amused rather than anything else. How about you two? How do you respond to this greeting?
Tobias is terrified to say anything.
Hello. Nice to meet you. Again.
Hello. Yes. Well, very, very nice to meet. I like the confidence with you. You must be. You ready? File Tobias. Is it Tobias or Tobias?
Tobias is fine. Tobias is fine.
Alright, I'll just call you Toby. And you must be March. Very distinctive face you got there. And you, confident laddie, must be Lucky Jack. Well, I hope your name isn't just a flashy title. You're going to need it.
Words, yes. Oh, absolutely.
I see. And he's like looking at you like, oh, well, maybe your confidence is actually a part of your acting skills. And so he claps his hands or paws together and rubs them
No,
and is like,
no, sorry, the initial thing was me.
oh, well,
Not Jack.
bless. Okay. You just had an aloof silence. Either way, he claps his hands together and he looks kind of like, he has a smile, but it looks a little bit carnivorous. You're a little bit anxious at the nature of that crocodilian smile. So he says, all right, let's get started then. So, what do you think the underlying meaning of this is? And he gestures behind him, like at the scene that you have just seen. And what I need you all to do is roll insight to try and tell what the meaning of this, perhaps this movie, this creature is. Because he is an artiste. Ah, okay, that's a 9 from Lucky Jack.
Oh no!
Oh dear, that's a 4 from March. And a 3! Oh my gosh! That's amazing!
Anxiety. Let's just say
Oh
that's the
no!
anxiety.
Okay, well, you basically all take this movie at surface value. You just have seen what you have seen. You see no particular other meaning behind it. So how do you describe this to him?
I like the flashing lights.
Okay. How about you two?
I got a nat 1.
Great catastrophe movie.
Alright, one left. What's your opinion?
Taking glee in mindless destruction.
Well, as far as guesses go, that's not the worst. And he looks a little bit deflated. He was a very bright yellow, sunny orange. Now he's gone to his usual tone of orange, which isn't like sepia or anything. It's just orange.
Oh no!
So he looks a bit.
Red.
He's a bit disappointed in himself, is the thing. So he actually brings out a little notebook and is like, okay, alright, fine. Well, I will tell you, this is, well, perhaps it is a little difficult to tell outside the context, but I'm going for some, I'm trying to break out of the Western format, so I thought a little monster movie. I've never done one of those before. It's great fun. Loved the stomping, really good. But the whole thing that's happening with Unquill, I was trying to make the monster into a metaphor for that, and the cold spell that's just been happening over Toontown with the ice. Gosh, I have to say that give me a sore throat with all that. I think I'll have to change it to fire. I mean, the ice looks good, but if no one's getting the metaphor anyway. Alright, well, thank you for the feedback. However, I would advise that you all work on your empathy, because understanding the emotional impact of a movie is very important for an actor. And speaking of acting, he brings something out of his pocket, and he's holding out 3 sticks, and they look completely identical. He offers them first to you, March. So you have to pick a stick. What you have to do is roll a d3 for me, please.
Alright. And I get 3.
You do. What that means is your stick is red, and he then offers these sticks to Tobias. Bleh. And you have to roll a d2 this time, because there's only 2 sticks left.
Okay.
Oh, fun. Okay. The stick you have is green, and of course the last one. Oh my goodness, you actually got a 1. You rolled a d1. Cranky, I love you. Okay.
What does D1 look like physically?
You get the blue one.
I think that's like a Mobius strip.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, so he says, oh, well, that's very interesting. All right, so March, you're going to be our villain for this scene that we're going to practice. Lucky Jack.
Sweet, Mort is bad at that.
Lucky Jack, you're a hero. You look very dashing in your cape, so that works. And Tobias, you actually have the hardest part, so I'm sorry about that, but you're the comic relief. And he hands you all this script. So you are the hero, villain, and comic relief, respectively. So you can take a moment to read these, and it has a little synopsis of your motivation and then the line you say. So I'll just give you a second to get your teeth into that. And the hero and the villain...
Oh, I have to improv.
Yeah, the hero and the villain have lines. Tobias, you do have the hardest part because you have to react to their performance. You have to decide which one of these two to side with, because that's what this scene is about. So it's actually very important, your part. But we start with the hero. So I want you to roll a performance, but you could also roll persuasion. If you make an argument for it, you can use another roll, but I would say one of those two.
So I'm doing performance.
Yeah, that's fine. The villain has the most options, but I shall get to that. A 10. All right, so that's how well you've done. Please deliver the line for me.
It's not. Blah, blah.
It's all right. Do your vocal warm-ups. Do your vocal warm-ups. Get it out your system. You can also physically describe how they deliver this line.
But it's not too late for you. I've seen that there's kindness inside you. Join me. Find your freedom. Fight against this tyrant by my side. Sorry.
No, that's the perfect 10, and that's what you got. So, yeah, he stands there sort of, all right, and you get a sort of ear flick. You're not quite sure what that means. He's got a very good deadpan expression, actually. It's very hard to tell what he's thinking. And now we have the villain. So if you can roll, but you can do persuasion, you can do intimidation, you can do performance, or you could do deception. Because the villain is trying to persuade the comic relief to stay with them, but actually just needs them as a heavy, as for muscle, basically.
Where's my deception? Well, deception's +0. The only thing I have is persuasion, which is +2.
Okay, go for it.
So, D20 +2.
4? Are you joking? Oh my god. Okay, deliver that line then with a 4.
Oh no! March is just a startling mess.
Oh, bless you.
He was like, don't, hold on, I'm sorry, don't listen to that, starry-eyed fool. You, served me for years, useless though you might have been. Do you really think you're worth saving at this point? What reason would they even have to do? Except for stopping, wait, what's the word? Stopping you from helping me win them.
You know what? That was such a good, bungled performance. You get inspiration. That was really good.
Oh.
That came across very genuinely. And he had some trouble keeping his straight face this time. And finally, Tobias, it's your turn. And again, you have the hardest job because this is a straight performance role, and you choose how this scene ends. So it doesn't have to be very long. Just, yeah, how do you think your character would respond?
Well, you know what? I've been thinking about this, and Tobias has been thinking about this. It's supposed to be the comic relief, but it's gonna be dramatic with either choices. But he's an UPN, and what can UPNs do?
Mm-hmm.
They can separate the color from the lines.
Oh my god,
I love this already.
So Tobias is acting. He tries to make it look like he's struggling, which he really is. And then he's like, "Oh yeah," and he sends his color part to the hero and his line part to the villain.
That's really good. And yeah, can you roll performance? Because we do still need that roll.
Yeah.
March is just like, I didn't know he could do that.
So, with all luck, how bad will this be? Oh, I
drum
have a
roll.
+5, so maybe not that.
21, everybody! Holy shit!
Yes!
That's not out of all of us. Oh, that's hilarious.
That's incredible. Do you say anything? Do you have any lines you want to say?
You just say. So he's struggling, and he just says, "You know what?" And then he turns into Tobias.
That's really good. And
There we go.
yeah, the engineer cannot help himself. He absolutely applauds. He looks delighted.
Mark is just clapping for him.
Wow. Well, that was something. I'm very impressed. Well done, laddie. And he's shaking both of your hands because you've got two of you.
Mr. Tobias. So, color-wise, you see Tobias turning yellow and almost god.
He looks twice as excited now. He's just like, oh, you are something special, aren't you, laddie? The other two of you, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you some feedback. And Lucky Jack, he actually comes over and starts, like, manipulating you, which is a bit like, you see these smear frames, like, popping up and down, like, from Lucky Jack's arm to his foot to his cape, and he's like, now, if you stand a little more like this and you push your chest out, you've got to really, like, emphasize, say it from your gut, you know, you're a villain, you need to get, I mean, you're the hero, you need to get through, you need to get through to this poor innocent that has been manipulated. And as for you, March, and he does the same to you, and he says, if you curve your back over, you're nice and tall, and you've got this really, you know, the flowers, I actually quite like that. That's unusual for a villain. You know, I've got a good aesthetic to work with, but you've got to, I know I threw the lines at you, so you didn't have much time to learn them, but the thing is, it's not the words that matter, it's the meaning behind them. Do you understand? And after this, I need you both to roll performance again, but with advantage. So, Tobias, you don't have to roll again because that was incredible and you've done it. But he wants both Lucky Jack and March to try their lines again. Okay, that's a 12 from March. I mean, 14. What am I talking about? Ooh.
Wait, who was that for? Oh no, that was for me.
Okay, that was Lucky Jack has got a 20, which will definitely do it.
Oh my god, my best is 14.
Okay, well, 14's not bad. It's certainly an improvement on last time. So, Cranky, you want to roll again in case you nat?
I already got a 20.
You did, but you might get a nat 20 plus 4. You never know.
Alright, I forgot it was advantage. Right.
Yep. This is what acting lessons
I was
will
like,
do for
oh
you.
yeah, that's my roll.
An 8. Yeah, we'll go with that 20, huh? So yeah, we actually have an improvement. So a 14 is passable. Like that's good. So March, your performance shoots up. But Lucky Jack, you really took to that. Really took to that feedback, huh? And he looks very, very pleased about this. I won't make you do the lines again, it's fine. And
Thank
he's
you.
like, alright, great, we've got some promise. I mean, you already made it through the preliminary audition, so I knew you'd have something about you. But here's the thing, I want you now individually to tell me, or preferably show me, although Tobias, I think you're ahead of the game, what it is that makes you unique. Everybody is unique, but I want to know what it is about you that I want to have on my team.
Well, March is probably going to go with the fact that his athletic bonus is +5.
Okay.
Despite not being actually rubber hose. So he's just like, I think I can do stunts if I try hard enough.
Okay, well, that's something, but I need to know about you, your personality, your history. What can you bring to me that I have not already seen? And trust me, I have seen some fairly good stunts, and he's very immodestly sort of preening himself at the moment.
March is just like, Think emoji.
You can demonstrate. So, like, you could actually show him a stunt in the studio. You have, like, the upper railing with lights hanging from it. There are sandbags hanging. There's these buildings that are, like, semi-knocked over. There's things you can interact with in this room.
Oh, cool.
Oh, have we lost you?
I don't know what to do.
Oh, it's okay. I'll let March think about it for a second, like, while the other two have a go. How about Lucky Jack? How about you? What do you do to impress him? You can do
I
magic.
wish I knew.
You can do magic. You can just
I-
say something about yourself and show off. Like, I broke all the
Sorry,
players. Oh
Ruth.
no, I feel really bad. I suppose I should say, like, you know, this is while your characters are stewing and trying to think what to do. This is about, like, what kind of an actor or what kind of a stuntman you want to be here. Like, your specialist field of acting is what you want to demonstrate here.
Well, I'll go first to let the others think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So Tobias is looking a bit at himself and then says, well, I like to think that I can really get into character once I'm in the right costume.
Well,
I
that's
think
a
that's
good...
the thing I like most to do.
Excellent. Alright, let's see what we've got around here. And he scurries over to a big chest. It's like a huge wardrobe. No lions in it, or witches, fortunately. We don't want any of those unless they're from UPA. And he opens it and gestures into it. And there are a lot of outfits in there. There's like a pirate outfit, there's a Viking costume, there's a space suit. Choose whatever you like and yeah, show him how well you can transform.
I'll go with the pirate's costume because pirates are cool.
They very much are.
So, I don't really know what to improv with it, but can I roll performance for
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. That's the other thing is, like, you can roll any sort of stat roll that you want, or you can, yeah, do a spell or an attack even. Like, this is very loosey-goosey sandbox type playing I'm trying to do here, so don't sweat it, guys.
I can use vicious mockery.
Yeah, you can. That's a very good spell for a pirate.
Oh my god. Wait, I need to remember what to roll for stuff.
It's alright. We're still
So,
breaking ice here.
So do I do performance and then vicious mockery?
You can do both. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. You can choose one or the other, or do both.
Well, I'll do both. So performance.
Performance is
Eight.
8. Not so great.
Slam dunk on my face. Oh wait, I forgot to open my attack sheet
Oh, it's
because I don't remember my stuff.
It's fine, it's fine. It's also
It's
difficult
not
playing on
nice.
a computer because, you know, I've got so many tabs open, it's absolutely bonkers. Whereas, you know, if you're playing on a table, you can have lots of sheets of paper that are all there at the same time. I also have to say, like, these games go surprisingly well considering we have no facial cues from each other, like, trying not to talk over each other.
Honestly, I prefer this because I'm sweating.
Oh, bless! So am I. It's really hot. here
I'm
today.
just as equally nervous.
Yeah. So are you going to roll that vicious mockery, or are you sticking with that 8 for performance?
I'm gonna roll it, but I'm just. I just roll a thing.
A 5. Oh dear,
Yay!
bless your soul.
So no, I didn't.
Okay, do you want to say
I
how...
wasn't in the right mind.
Yeah, you try, but there's a little dissonance. How does this look?
So, excuse me for the term, but Tobias absolutely fucks up on the accent. And in New York accent, and he tries to do a little swing or something. the the cart the foam sword just swipes out of his hand and go flying somewhere.
You get the paw to face slap. He's kind of like, oh right, well, your first was very good. This one needs a wee bit of work. How about you try
He's not
this?
Hero anymore.
How about you try this? He takes the foam sword off you, and he sort of pauses for a moment, and then it's absolutely scary because he's like all up in your face. He's like jumped onto your chest, and he's like, "Play that behavior, laddie! I'll split your gizzard 20 times and tie you to the mast." And yeah, you have this director who has absolutely turned into a pirate captain without any outfit. Although he does have a very fetching sort of coral-coloured neck scarf around his neck already, so he is fairly piratical actually, now that I look at him. How do you respond to this?
What? Just this. Just a little small. He screams a little and then slaps on the on the floor.
Oh my. He's like, well, there you go, there's a demonstration. He helps you back up. He's like, this is completely normal. He's like, do you want to try that again? Do you want to try that again, laddie? And I want you to roll performance, again, with advantage, because you just had the lesson of a lifetime there.
Okay. Yes, I'll do. I'm dying, sorry.
It's fine. A 9. You're a bit wobbly.
Okay. I'm
has
just
just-
like Tobias, I'm trembling.
Yeah, he scared the shit out of you. A 20. All right. The first like breath you take, you're kind of still shaking, but then you get it. And what do you do?
I just imitated the engineer's accent.
Very good, very good. He's very flattered. And again, you get the applause, and he brings out that little notebook, and he makes a movement with his hand that you can't see, but it looks and sounds suspiciously like a tick. He says, excellent, that's very good. Okay, yeah, work in progress, but that is very promising, very promising. How about you two? Have you come up with anything for me?
I think March is going to go with the stunts.
Yeah.
Because that +5 to acrobat to what was it, athletics?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the +5 to athletics looking pretty promising.
Great, great. You have a playground, so go nuts. 18. Very good.
18, baby.
Yeah, you want to describe what March does?
March is just like takes a deep breath, composes himself, then like fucking jumps and like does all this like loop-de-loops around the buildings and like handstands and like he has 4 hands, so he's like he's very flexible with all that stuff. So he's like very parkour time, baby.
That's great. The engineer is smiling from ear to ear. He very much appreciates a good, fun-loving stuntman. So as you come back down to land and you do a sort of triple axel, and then ta-da, you get the applause. And you suspect that was a tick that he just made in his little book. He says, "Right, oh well, all right. Oh, gosh, you remind me of myself 25 years ago. That is marvelous, fantastic." And how about you, Mr. Lucky Jack? Are you feeling lucky?
Oh, absolutely. Now, if only Cranky could. Okay. So I think he's gonna like try to scale one of them. Okay. So what do I do? Like roll performance?
Entirely
Yeah, I'm
up to
gonna roll
you. Again,
performance.
this is the part of the game where you're allowed to do whatever you want. This is your
Yeah.
specialty.
So he climb one of the buildings, and do let's. Do I do both acrobatics and performance? Because he's gonna do both.
Ooh, fun! Yeah.
20 plus 3. That's for acrobatics. That's a 12.
Okay.
And climbs the building. Does like a big old sweep of his coat, a sweep of his hand. Coat like. Okay, then that's like performance. So sorry, I'm getting real complex up here.
It's fine. Also, again, typing and speaking is hard. 18. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah, and he does like prestidigitation to make his like coat flap.
Ooh, fun.
Ooh, that's cool.
Do I roll for prestidigitation?
No, you just do it. Prestidigitation is awesome because it just happens.
Okay.
It's a cantrip.
Gotta love a cantrip.
And he's gonna do like a big old villain voice, like, oh gosh, now if only I could think of something for him to say.
That's often the hardest part. But trust me, whatever you do, you've done it very well, because with an 18, you can't lose.
You know what? Fools!
Yes, baby!
Yes!
Okay.
You have wandered into my forest!
Oh my gosh, he's very impressed at everything. Like, you know, the acrobatics is like, you know, you climbed a building, whatever, hence the 12.
Yeah.
But, you know, the booming voice and the dramatic cape flap. Also the fact that you strongly remind him of someone that he knows very well. He slaps his thigh and, like, is just, like, in tux about this. He's like, yep, that'll do, that will do. And another big ka-tick sound in his book. You have all done very, very well on that round. Congratulations. And, yeah, he says, oh, fantastic. I was starting to worry that, you know, you got through by mistake. I'm just joking. I don't let people through by mistake. But this is where I have, you know my films. We are particularly keen on the action. So, if you're going to be a part of my film, I need to be absolutely sure that you can all safely handle the physical aspect. And saying this, he has been walking over to something that's behind a curtain. That's always a good sign. And he pulls on a rope. And he pulls on a lever. And the curtain parts, and you see this colossal machine. And it is absolutely terrifying. There are flames, there are circular saws, there are big mashy plates covered in spikes. It's very Portal. And there are things that look like they're going to catapult you sky high, and there are ropes, and there are chains, and it starts up with this awful sound, and you're like, oh shit. And, this is an obstacle course. So he gestures towards it very warmly and says, now I feel it is only fair to warn you. There's only been one fella who ever managed to survive, complete this here obstacle course apart from myself. So don't take it too lightly. All right, March, you go first. Ready, set, before he can say go. The phone rings in the office and an owl inside the office jumps up and down and waves at him through the glass, and he puts up a hand so that you don't go ahead, and he pulls the lever and the machine goes and stops, and the engineer has
What was absolutely about to just like run through it.
not when it's turned off. He puts up a hand and goes to the office, and you are for the moment left, all three of you, by yourself by this terrifying machine. You've got some free time. Do you want to discuss what's happened so far and the possible future that awaits?
So this guy is much more intense than I thought.
Tobias lets out big sigh because he's already tired.
You doing okay there, buddy?
I'm fine. It has been how long has it been? I feel like it's been 2 hours. Which is fine, it's fine, but I'm fine. He's
That's
not
good.
fine. How about you two?
This is looking pretty curious. I don't know. Okay, blah. Sorry.
So
What do you think is happening now?
Jack has probably wandered off to like examine the props a little closer.
Yeah, sure, you can do that. Yeah, I mean, like, roll investigation if you want to have a look around, or even perception. Like, all three of you can do that.
Yeah, I think Marge is gonna roll perception.
I see the two wandering off and I just follow them because I don't want to be alone.
Oh, bless.
But I don't get too far either because what if the enemy
Oh my God,
comes back and we're not here
19,
anymore?
very good.
Marge got a seed!
Da-da-da-da-da. +3. Yay.
Okay, this all tracks. That's perfect. So Tobias, you get a 10. You're very anxious, so you're not really paying attention to your surroundings. You're more like concerned with staying away from the big scary death machine. Lucky Jack,
I'm
you're
kinda looking at the engineer.
yeah, you're actually looking through the window at him, but you can't pass what he's saying because he's facing away from you. Lucky Jack, you investigate the props. A lot of these, if you've watched any of the films, which you have like watched one or two, you like recognize some of these. The engineer is not flush right now. He's not flush with cash, so he is reusing like anything that he can, but he always has. Like he's very economical about this kind of stuff. Some of these props don't look in the best repair, but the machine looks great. This machine looks like it's used daily, and you can see some little claw marks on parts of it, and you think that this is actually just his warm-up exercise machine. He just does this every day. Now, March, you got a 19. That's fantastic. You walk around, like, you get a real good tour of this place, and the thing that you get with a 19, you will see towards the end particularly, but the thing you really get is the love in this studio. And this is a studio that was almost killed a very short amount of time ago, and you can see, like, it's absolutely spotless, even with, like, the explosions that have been going off. People are, like, they're putting effort into looking after this place, and all of the owls that are on set, they look really happy, the conversations are good and active, and they're excited. This is a good feeling studio right now, and you're excited to be here. And your tour takes you then past the office that he's disappeared into, and you overhear him saying, "Where? Well, how soon till she reaches the points? All right, you keep track of it. I'm headed over. Oh, and get the backup horses ready. 3 of them. Yeah, aye, the fast ones. Yeah? All right, fine." And he puts the phone down. And he comes out of the office and almost bumps into you, but he doesn't care. He waves a hand at the staff owls and he says, "All right, shut it down, lads. Emergency. You know who it is. She's here. All right, I'm off." And he heads towards a little plinth. You haven't really noticed what this thing is before because it just looks like a platform for acting on. But before he steps onto it, he hooks a claw at the 3 of you and he says, "You lot, with me." And he turns around and disappears.
Huh. Well then. Guess it's time to go.
Yeah, you follow? Onwards.
Yes.
Yeah, you go up to this little plinth, and you, I think that Lucky Jack, you would probably recognise this being the most magical of all of us. It's a teleportation circle, and these are things that you can only establish, like, after a year. You have to repeatedly draw the same thing a year so that you can immediately teleport to a different place in the world. So do you stand on it?
March has no reason not to trust the engineer, so he's probably just like gonna walk on it.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably gonna like, yep, seems legit. Let's go.
Tobias is not trusting this thing, but he's trusting the engineer.
Oh. And
So he follows.
yeah, that's great. Lucky Jack, how about you? Because you know what this thing is, but like, do you go?
He follows.
All right.
Because he does not see anything of value where he's standing.
Yeah, it's true. Even if you stole like this entire studio, you probably wouldn't get much money for it. That's the tragedy of theatre. It's all smoke and mirrors. So you tread in this teleportation circle and you all go whoop, Mr. Scott teleport Star Trek style, to a very different location. The inside of the studio is kind of big and dark and shiny and cool. You are now on a high, flat-topped cliff, which is a mesa, and it's really hot out here, and you are completely disorientated for a second, but you are in the middle of the Warner Desert. And Tobias, you have watched a lot of his films, and you actually recognize this location because it's a popular filming location for his films. You've seen a lot of scenes here, like the famous Warner standoff, three-way standoff at the end of The Good, the Bad, and the Lucky happened here. And, you know, this is famous. You're quite excited. And there's also kind of a sort of ranch up here. There's a temporary sort of small holding, so, you know, they clearly use this place enough to habituate it. And you see the engineer off talking to a group of horses, and I really mean talking. You can hear him and understand what he's saying. There's some bartering about some, like, however many bags of oats he's going to pay them for something, but you can't understand what the horses are saying. You know the Asterix horses in the comics?
I think.
I vaguely remember.
Or like Lucky Luke's horse? They all look like that.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very, very cute. They've got lovely stylized limbs, clear line style, but they are, as it were, non-talking horses, even if they're Toonkind. One of the horses has very long ears and is kind of more angular than the others. And again, Tobias, because you're such a fan, you recognize this to be Bonnie, who is perhaps the most famous mule in Einquell, because she is the famous mount of the engineer and is a movie star in her own right, basically. She's a little shorter than the other horses, but here's where I want you to roll an insight check.
All of us?
If you like, yeah, sure, all of you.
What's my insight? +3.
See if you can make up for that not understanding what the film is about roll.
4!
4, no, a 10.
10.
Another 10. Okay.
None of us understand anything. We're all sharing one brain cell.
No, it's fine. So the only thing you really understand about this mule, which makes her any different, is the fact that she's a mule. But she also has a very curious way of lifting her hooves up very high when she walks, and her eyes are a slightly funny grey colour. But outside of that, you can't really tell anything. But the engineer is now waving you over and simultaneously is walking over to you with 3 of these horses with the reins in his hands, and Bonnie is just walking beside her master.
So what's the emergency?
Well, yes, it is a bit of an emergency, and he's handing the reins over to you. What colour's your horse, by the way, everybody? What colour horse do you want?
Black and white.
Oh, cute.
Probably to match Mark's aesthetic. Probably white with a bit of blacks.
Cute.
White because Tobias is white.
That's nice.
At least to be.
Actually, with that, I'm going to say all of these horses look like they are slightly rubber hose, because they're all like black and white and also very cartoony. That's good. Yeah, he looks a bit rueful and he says, well, you might have heard that my train, the Will-o'-the-Wisp 209 Express, otherwise affectionately known as Willow, has been removed from my care to pay off my debts. And he's handing over the reins to you all while he's doing this. What you won't have heard is that she was stolen 2 days ago while under the lacklustre guard of the bailiffs who took it as payment for what I owed McCodger. I don't know what the thieves have been playing at in the meantime, but there's only so much rail in Inkwell and we've been keeping an eye on it. She's been spotted and is due to pass this section of rail in a few minutes. And this is where it's a bit curious, because you're looking around on top of this mesa, which is a flat-topped cliff. It's like, if you've seen, like, westerns, they're those strange rock formations that are always in the background that look really cool. There is no rail up here. And he says, I don't... The thing is, the problem with Willow is that she is wonderful. She is a very special train. I built her myself. And she was built for stunts. The thing is, she can stop and reverse within seconds, and the taffy train was the only locomotive that could challenge her in speed, so we've got to catch her unawares. This is going to be your final test. Forget that wee machine, this is much better. We are going to take back my train. The owls and crows will be... Yeah, it's a reverse train heist.
Yes.
We are reclaiming my train, and he looks very excited about this. He's gone back to that sort of lovely honey golden orange that he was at the beginning.
Mark is immediately on board.
Color update. Wait, color update. Tobias is yellowy, almost orangey, and he looks so excited.
Bless.
This is gonna be so cool.
It is. Jack, how about you? Like, how are you feeling about this?
Jack is feeling pretty upbeat about this because the alternative was a kind of giant murder machine, so...
Okay. Yeah, he's also very happy to see that you're all on board with this Train Jokes Abound. He's, like, increasingly affectionate towards Tobias. Like, the colour thing is really, like... He loves this. He loves this so much. So he says, so, this is your final test. And the owls and crows will be filming, and he waves over to the crew. And you may have seen them, especially you, March, on the Battle of the Bridge. But they have these camera-mounted brooms, and these are, like, brand new ones. He's invested in them because they worked so well. He loves these things now. So, yeah, some fairly magical-looking crows are on some of them, and owls on the other. There's about 3 of them. So they're...
Mark is waving towards the camera.
He says, hey, I want you to be making this look good, but the main thing is to keep yourself safe, because these owls and crows will be filming, but they aren't much in a fight, and they'll be one, mark my words. So at this point, he is getting on board Bonnie. I need you all to roll animal handling to see how well you do with your horses.
Oh boy. What is my animal handling is +1.
Oh, same here.
Well, I don't have a bonus.
Oh boy, this will be good. A 3! A 3! A 2! And a 3! Oh my god! What? No, this is beautiful. Okay.
You got 2 nat ones and 1 free.
I mean, I kind of have an idea of what happens, but do you guys want to describe how badly this goes?
Mark never rode a horse before, so he's probably like clinging on to dear life, and the horse does not like it. So it's like very funny. This like tall man just like clinging on this like rubbery horse and like fearing for his life.
I feel Jack would have accidentally tried starting with his peg leg and then slipped, and then it all went downhill from there.
So, Tobias seems to have no trouble getting on, but then he just falls on the other side.
He just like goes straight over and hit the dirt.
Exactly.
He's like, the engineer is like on Bonnie, and Bonnie is just like, she doesn't actually seem to respond, but her ears are kind of going up and down. And he's just like, hang on, alright, and he hops off, and he helps you all very patiently onto your respective horses. And he's,
my god.
the thing is,
Just a gang of like little children.
yeah, he's actually being like as gentle as he can for someone who's in a real hurry, because like there is a time limit here. So he does like, he teaches you to hold on to the pommel, and you put your left foot in if you're on the left hand side, and you swing your right hand leg over so you don't face backwards, and all that kind of stuff. And you do somehow end up on the horse. And he's like, it's alright, I've briefed the horses on what to do, so the only thing you need to do is know that pulling on both the reins makes them stop, pulling on the left one makes you go left, pulling on the right one makes you go right. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Aye. Good to know that you can hear at least. Oh, by the way, you may not know Bonnie, but you may recognize her. And he's just bounced onto his horse, like his mule, and you now understand. You now understand what your insight rolls have failed, because this whole time she's been listening to you but not looking at you, which all the other horses have been doing. Bonnie is blind.
Oh.
He pats her on the neck and says, they were going to turn it into glue, and I did not want that. There is no braver stunt horse out there, and not being able to see what you're running at, I'll tell you, with me on her, that's probably a good thing. And we're running out of time. I'll brief you as we're off. So he kicks her into a gallop and heads in a particular direction. And without you telling them to, all the horses set off after him, because he has briefed the horses. However, you do have that instruction on how to stop them or turn them if you want. So, emotional state, how are you feeling now?
March is over his initial shock of not knowing how to function on a horse, and he's just like, alright, I can do this. I can probably do this.
Okay.
Jack's
even
embarrassment. Jack's embarrassment is
go.
somewhat stifled by the fact that the other two are also bad with horses.
Tobias is still excited, but this is an important mission, so he's concentrating.
That's very cute. That roll I just made was for your passive perceptions. Fortunately, I bungled it, so you all notice as you ride out. Again, you are on top of a tall rocky mesa, but you can just about make out some railroad. It's below you, in a canyon, which is definitely not on your level. And the engineer is riding straight ahead at what appears to be the edge of a cliff. And he says, alright, this here's your final exam, pay attention. And at this point, he slips out of his stirrups and stands up on the saddle. So he's turned his back on the direction that he's riding in. So he calmly addresses you, while Bonnie, the blind mule, continues heading towards the edge of a cliff at full gallop. And this is normal film day for the engineer, so if you want in on his crew, this is what you gotta expect. And he says, all members of a film crew must trust one another. Actors must trust their director and believe in their vision and guidance. And likewise, the director has to know that he can trust his actors to support him and each other no matter what. Now, I'll not rose tint this. We're going over that cliff. Now, the horses have been briefed on that, so I thought it would be fair to do the same to you. And crazy as it may sound, if you follow me, I promise you that you will come to no harm. However, the horses will stop if you tell them to, which all brings me around to this one last essential qualification for being a real live movie star. And he gives you all a wild, wide grin. Are you willing to take a leap of faith? You are 5 paces from what feels like the edge of the world. What do you do?
Fuck yeah, let's go!
I am
Drink a leap of faith juice for breakfast.
He's just like totally excited. He's just like, "Yep, I'm on this. I'm on this wild ride, and I'm not getting off."
Oh, this is terrible, but also very fun. But this is terrible. I have Featherfall. Do anyone want Featherfall?
The thing is, he hasn't told you to do anything. He's just asking you to ride. And so, do you all just carry on?
Jack is on.
Yes.
Hell yeah!
Okay. There are no invisible platforms. There are no movie magic optical illusions here. He was not telling you a lie in order to test your courage, which he might have done in previous existences. It really is the edge of a cliff, and the engineer's mule jumps clean off it without a backwards glance, as do all of your horses with you on it. It looks goddamn spectacular. You all four of you go into freefall on horseback. But as you do, you can't help but notice that there are several owls on broomsticks keeping pace with your harrowing descent. You fall 10 feet, 30 feet. You can feel the lining of your stomach hit the bottom of your heart. 50 feet, 100 feet. You can barely hear anything above the wind. Although you swear you can hear someone laughing madly, and you're pretty sure you know who it is. 200, 300, 400 feet pass in a vertical blur of various shades of rich red, amber,
also?
and sunlit orange. And also, yes?
Yes, I think it's important to note that Jack is like holding on to his horse with, holding on to the reins with one hand and holding on to his hat with another.
Oh, that's so cool. You get style points.
It's like holding on the reins with one set of hands, and the other set of hands is just like either flailing or making like gestures to like the cameras.
Tobias is grabbing onto his horse for their life.
Oh, bless him. These are all very good reactions. So, yeah, at 400 feet, even the horses are starting to panic, and their hooves are, like, involuntarily cantering on thin air. Only Bunny appears to be, like, trotting, as if she's just in a normal place. Sound, though, sound now is beyond you. Everything is just dust and wind, and a certain approach of an unforgiving stretch of yellow bedrock. You get within 60 feet of the ground, and then the engineer's right paw raises into the air, and one of the broom-mounted cameramen who's been keeping pace with you casts Featherfall on you all and your steeds, and you slow drift downwards as elegantly as autumn leaves. How are you feeling?
Jack tackles.
March never had been on this kind of wild ride, but he's hyped. He had fun. He's like, woo! And he may or may not have been whispering like, again.
Tobias has a rush of adrenaline right now. Who knows how long it will last?
Oh, okay. Actually, can I ask, I think, March, you don't have any magic, but Jack and Tobias, can you roll me an Arcana check?
Ooh. Sure thing.
All about the check rolls this time.
The wrong chat, but okay.
Oh, what did you get?
That's
Yay.
a 4.
You got a 4. Okay, the 4 doesn't get it. However, a 16 will do it, because, like, somehow, like, in this sort of 6-second breath of air that you've got, you think something funny's going on, especially because you actually have Featherfall, Tobias. And the thing is, Featherfall can only cover 6 creatures, which includes the horses. The maths doesn't add up. And you only saw one person cast, but there was someone else who made a movement when that happened. But that's all I'm going to give you for a 16. And you drift downwards gently, and you all land safely just in time to see the train round the base of a cliff just ahead of you. And you now see what a perfect trap this is. Because if you had approached on any side at ground level, the train would have been able to see you and just speed away in either direction. But due to your very sudden and unexpected appearance from above, unseen due to this towering overhang of rock, the train and its occupants are totally taken by surprise. And there is still some distance for the train and you to cover in order to meet, but you are headed towards it, and it is headed towards you. Also, at this point, I'm going to post a picture of the train, because I love Willow. She's so pretty. She's kind of a frightening looking train, actually, and the whistle isn't like the usual woo woo, it doesn't go up and down, it just kind of goes wah, it screams. It sounds a bit like a hawk. It's a very frightening sort of whistle, and that goes off as you
Scream
approach.
train.
Yeah. Screamy train. And the engineer looks delighted to see her, and gives you all a big rosy smile, because you did very, very well, and I have lost part of the script because my scroll is set at a really bad speed. What the fuck are you doing? My computer is like completely going in the wrong direction. This is not helpful at all. There it is! Anyway, he says, well, I suppose that's what you call falling with style. Now, lights, camera, action. And he sets off at a gallop towards this train, shouting, I'll do what I can to get to the engine room and take back the reins. You all do what you can to keep the villains off me and yourselves. Just don't get killed. And remember, we're filming, so smile for the camera. And so saying, the engineer drives Bonnie forwards and up onto the tracks, charging headlong at this black locomotive that is hurtling towards you head on. What do you do?
Marsh is they're probably already landed, so Marsh is probably like, alright, let's do this, let's start a charge at some people. You guys ready?
Ready as ever.
Well, Tobias still has his adrenaline rush, so he's galloping towards the train too, trying to see where he can land on the train.
Okay, that's great.
Sound strategy.
How am I going to do this? I'm not going to make you roll for anything. This is just like cool opening part of the movie. So this train is at the moment heading towards you very, very quickly, and it sounds this desperate warning whistle as the locomotive and this mule look set for a really terrible collision as the brails start to squeal in a long, wild scream. But as the train screeches to a halt, Bunny does the same, coming to a stop with her front hooves on the cowcatcher as it stops, and her back legs buck wildly up. And the impetus sends the light, short frame of the engineer flying up and over the train to land on the roof of the second carriage. And I now have to break the... Goddamn, I keep moving the tabs. This computer's sensitivity settings are bullshit. I really need to sort those out. Anyway, I'm going to make an acrobatics check to see how well or badly he does in terms of landing, because he was moving quite fast. 19! No problem. Okay, yeah, he skitters to a halt. So he's on the...
Magnificent.
Yeah, you can see the last carriage, like, as it were, the far one on the left. He lands on that with just, like, this effortless skid. And the train is very temporarily stopped, but it's going to start moving again very quickly. And I think at this point, we have to roll initiative. But we're going to take a short break. Everybody, like, take a breather. You can talk about how weird this game is while I run around the house and scream for a bit and give my throat a rest. Yeah, we'll pick up when we're all ready to. Okay?
Well, I'm running to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's also that's a key part of being able to keep playing a D&D game. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hello. There's a person. Oh,
I'm
nice.
here.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh God, I did not give myself enough time to breathe doing that last spiel. I'm like, oh boy.
Woo.
Oh, how you doing? Is this okay? Are you doing all right? Is this fun? I hope it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's fun.
Good. This is the part where we all try not to die. Good show. Okay. Oh God, this is always the most boring, long-winded part. Is doing all the rolling initiative. Boo. Okay, let's do the engineer first. That's fine. If you can all like also help me like keep track of initiative, because oh my God, I'm that tiny on my initiative. Great. Okay, super. I guess we know
Nice.
who's going first.
Where is the combat? Oh, initiative +1. Alright.
Yeah, you got a +1.
Nice.
Ooh, 21. Nice. Oh my gosh, these rolls!
Holy shit!
Oh my gosh.
Roll spitty!
Oh.
Tobias slightly behind us.
Oh, bless. God, I love all of you. I have to say, your in-character moments have been just so delightful. It's really good. Okay, now I have to roll the bad guys. Of which there are many. Actually, how am I going to do this? I don't want to have to do all of these buggers individually. Okay.
Let's just hope that they don't all nat 20 and everything will be fine.
Yeah. Okay, that's super. That's cool. That's
Nice.
cool.
Everything's
Nice!
fine.
I'm gonna say yeah. All right. I'm actually gonna group some of these, so I'll do that and I'll do this. 3. Jesus.
Sweet.
I mean, actually, this does kind of make
The
sense.
dice is with us.
This does make sense because they've been taken very much by surprise. That's fine. And there's potentially someone else, but I'm going to leave that for you to worry about later. Okay. By the way, are you all good? You've all got drinks, sugar, drugs, whatever.
What?
Rock and roll. I am currently eating a brownie.
Who
Which
knows which one I have?
Okay. Right, I will just swallow this hunk of chocolate that I've just shoved into my mouth, and then we will resume. By the way, have you got like any questions that I can answer before we get into like the maelstrom that is going to be this combat?
Can I, since part of Marsh's character is that he will defend others before defending himself, can I say that if someone like lines an attack that can be like, that will really hurt, can Marsh try and take that hit?
Yeah, that's like a whole game mechanic thing. If you hold your turn in anticipation of that, I'll allow it. But
Okay.
you do actually have to like just take it one step at a time. But you know, that's an action. Is you can hold your turn to defend someone else specifically. So you know, keep that in mind if you do want to do that.
Alright.
But at the moment, what has happened is this train has stopped. However, as the engineer has explained, this is a very special train. And it will be setting off within the next round. So even though it has stopped, it is already starting to go, like, it's been going, as trains do. It is now starting to go, which is a very strange sound. Also, it's you, in the picture you might be able to observe this train's smoke. It's a very unusual kind of smoke. It looks much more like ink underwater, you know, that lovely sort of billowing, liquidy kind of effect. And that's what it looks like. It's kind of paused.
That's really cool.
It's paused right now because, like, as it was going forward, it was coming out of the funnel, but now it's kind of just hanging there and slowly moving. It's very strange. So yeah, at present, the engineer is already on the train, so I'm actually going to say that was his turn. That's fine. He's already up there, but you can hear kind of stirrings from inside the train, so you think he's not going to be on that roof alone for very long. You actually have the opportunity to clamber on this train before it starts moving too quickly, or you can stay on your horses. March, it's your go. What do you want to do?
March definitely jumps on the train.
Okay, make me an acrobatics or athletics roll.
Athletics, that's the better one.
Cool. Also, I would ask which part of the train you're aiming to be on, because he's managed to fling himself like way to the back, and this seems completely unnecessary, but it was very dramatic.
Probably to be as close to the engineer as possible.
Okay, right, I'll say you try and get on that same carriage then. It's alright, I haven't done that. Ah, 17, excellent. You do it with panache. And again, like, these roles are also to do with, like, how showy it is, because you are on film. So you want to describe how cool you look when you do this?
March just, like, kind of stands up on his horse and does, like, a front flip. And he like, lands on his feet with, like, a flourish. Just like, oh yeah!
The engineer loves this. Yeah, absolutely. He has a real hard time, like, not smiling too widely, because again, like, you're in a movie, he's got to be like in character. Jack,
He's all mouth anyway.
yeah, absolutely. Jack, what do you do?
He would probably. I figure the best course of action would be to get on the train. So he gets on the carriage in front of the one that engineer and what's his name again?
March.
March.
March. Yeah, he Anyway, he gets on the carriage in front of them, so that would be acrobatics.
Mm-hmm.
20 plus... 3. That's a 5.
A 12 is less impressive. You think that there's a sort of no capes moment because your cape actually just got a little bit snagged on something. Because the other thing is, like, this whole train was designed for stunts. So there's actually handholds everywhere. They don't look like them. They're just, like, as it were, embellishments to the train carriages. But they're actually really helpful little handholds and footholds all over the place. So, yeah, you get a bit snagged and it's less cool than you would have hoped. But you get on. That's the main thing. So you're on the second carriage. Tobias, it is you next. What do you do?
I'll do the same and try to get on the train.
Okay,
Probably between the last and the second carriage.
Okay, yeah, you can get into that passageway. That's fine.
Yeah. So acrobatics 2.
Acrobatics or athletics.
I'm going to go get myself some jelly. This BRB.
A 10.
Types of gelatin.
Well, that's fine because I think Tobias would go more over practicality than trying to be fancy.
You know what? This also makes it fun because you've had two really stylish ghoul-looking stunts, then you have a sort of midway, and then you have the comic relief.
The comic relief.
And also the train has started to move by the time you start jumping, and you're trying to get into like a specific place. So you basically look like you trip off your horse into this gap. Like you don't land prone or anything, but yeah, there you land, and that is where you are. As this happens, I think at this point the train has started moving again in earnest, and it's going backwards, and I mean this in a very literal way because the sound of the train is backwards, the smoke of the train is backwards, it's going back into the funnel, and everything around you kind of seems to go is very strange. You feel kind of weird. Like time isn't reversing, but this train and what it is reversing. And but there's something
very weird.
Yeah, it's a very strange train. Just gonna tell you, this train runs on very unusual fuel, so I would be cautious.
At least it's not candy.
Would be cautious about that. And here is where we actually have a useful map, not just my pretty aesthetic drawings. So suddenly you have got lots of little friends who appear out of like windows and clamber onto the roof. So I'm gonna pin this message, so this is the map, so you'll want to be keeping track of it. So the engineer and March, you're both on the first carriage. I'm gonna say, like, you know, you got there first, so you can decide where you are in terms of these characters. The engineer is on the far left, because, you know, he likes giving himself an obstacle course. Toby, you're like, yeah, you're between 1 and 2. And Lucky Jack, are you like on top of that little bit in the middle, or are you like where are you on that second carriage?
Knowing Jack, he'd probably be on the top.
Yeah, cool. Okay, suddenly this big hulking mass appears in front of you, and the pink fellas are hyenas. And they all have little tiny bowler hats and striped suits, and they look kind of westerny, but also not. Also kind of like mobsters, a little bit. And the Weasels just kind of ooze out of places on this train and just kind of slime onto the train. And they're much shorter. They're like, as you can see, they're like about 5 feet tall. But all of them have little pop guns, because Pop Goes the Weasel is a pun I couldn't pass up. But the first people who are up are the hyenas, because I've just bunched those together. So we've got 2 hyenas at present who are there. And yeah, so the first one is, would you say that, March, would you say that you're between the engineer and this hyena, or not?
What?
Are you, like, I'm giving you the option of where to place your character here. I'm not going to draw it on the diagram. We'll just have to imagine what it looks like, because I can't do that at the same time as playing a game. So where are you? Would you be, like, between the engineer and this hyena that's about to attack one of you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. Well, that's very sweet of you.
Mark is just like charging forward. It's like, yep, time to fight. Let's go.
Well, it's gonna snarl and lunge at you, so it is going to attack. A 20, I'm gonna guess, hits you for sure. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
14.
It does this sort of cartoon winding back, like Popeye is about to punch you, and it punches you for 3 hit points, which is not very much at all. So you get this ring, 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 dong, and it makes a sort of bell sound as it collides with your head. The next hyena is very close to you, Lucky Jack, and it's going to try and do the same, basically. So that's 20 to hit. 10. It does not hit you. How does this look?
No.
Tell me.
Probably like you know how like Hyena takes a swing to like try to hit Jack. Jack ducks the hat, and the hyena hits between like the hat and the ear and where his head was a second ago.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, again, I am actually keeping track of style points, like how fun this looks for people watching. So, like, that's like a thing you might want to keep in mind. It's not essential, but it's like, it's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to do. So, yeah, you absolutely get one for that. And now it is the Weasels, and there are 2 of those. With the engineer and March, and one of them is going to have a crack at the engineer because it has a death wish apparently. So it is going to fire one of these teeny little pop guns at the engineer, which is a +4 to hit. 5 does not hit at all. He catches it in his teeth, and
Oh my god.
yeah. And in fact, because he does, you notice that they really are pop guns. Like, that was a cork, and he just eats it. Like, this weasel looks absolutely terrified. Like, it looks like it wants
The
to just...
engineer is fucking feral.
just wants to jump off the train at this point. But the other one is going to have a crack at you, March. A 17, does that hit?
Yeah.
It does. Okay, this tiny little pellet comes and hits you between the eyes for 2 hit points of damage.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it goes, and that is literally what it feels like because these guys are pathetic. Yeah, that's what happens for that. Where's the other bugger? There's lots of these weasels around. Some of them are like, yeah, some of them are like actually just, as you can see, staying inside the train. Although your characters won't be able to see that. Yeah, there is one within range of Lucky Jack, so he's going to likewise try and take a pot shot. 16, does that hit you? Yeah, it does. Okay, yeah, you take 2 hit points. It's really kind of embarrassing how little that hurt, even you. So, yeah, you're not a barbarian and you were like... Okay, so that's basically what happens on that round. You can hear activity underneath you in the train, but nothing else happens in this round. It is now the engineer's turn, and he just is like... He's immediately got a read on, like, how... not great these guys are at fighting. So what he's actually going to focus on doing is getting to the engine room, because that is his ultimate mission, is to get past them all and reclaim his train. So again, he's going to do an acrobatics check to see like how far he can get by ducking and diving around these people. 22. Oh, the guy got jukes. Yeah, he like dances around these guys, flips over them. Like, this is like a walk in the park for this guy, and he's on his train, his beloved train. He's in his element. He has a wonderful time, and he is now on the second carriage, so he's with Jack, as it were, but on the lower level. Okay, March, it's your go. What do you do?
So March is like, alright, go ahead, engineer, I'll cover for you. And as for you others, this is what happens to thieves. And he goes into a rage and attacks.
Woo! Fun! Who are you attacking, by the way?
I'm gonna attack the hyena.
Good call.
So he's gonna take out his warhammer. And I don't actually know how to roll to like attack. So I do d20 plus my attack bonus.
Yeah, which is +5, so it's d20 +5.
Alright.
By the way, yeah, Staria is like completely new to D&D, and she's absolutely rocking it, guys. Woo! An 18 definitely hits. Okay, and now you roll damage. So that's a 1d8 +3.
So wait, no.
Yeah. Exclamation point D8
1d8
+3.
8 plus 3.
Very nice.
7.
Okay, 7. Yeah, the hyena makes a slightly sad accordion sound as you wallop it over the head, like directly. But it does sort of spring back up and do a noise as it's bouncing up and down.
Since I'm in a raid, do I attack twice?
You do because you're a barbarian. So yeah, that's how that's.
So So I'm gonna attack the hyena again.
Mm-hmm.
1d10, 20 plus 5. Heck yeah!
Whoop-hoo!
30, 20.
Yeah. Okay. Roll to hit again.
1d. Wait. So 1d8 plus 3. 9!
Oh, this hyena looks very sad. This hyena does not like this game anymore. Yeah, that's the situation. So okay, he's very much bloodied. This hyena is not looking healthy or happy. And
What does bloodied mean?
Hmm?
What does bloodied mean?
Bloodied means that they're like under half of their hit points, or like within the last 10 hit points. I always get that wrong. Anyway, it's both of those. So like, yeah, he looks really sad and sort of regretting his life choices right now. Yeah, you also, if you do have any bonus actions or movement that you want to do, you can do that. But you said you wanted to like cover him, so you may just want to stay where you are.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover after the engineer.
Okay, good.
So let him charge ahead.
That's very good of you. Okay.
Because it is the engineer's train.
Yeah.
March is gonna let the engineer do the honors.
Okay, Jack, it's your go. Also, that was so successful, I say you get another style point for that for sure.
Nice. Just to be safe, I think I shall cast false life on myself.
Yeah. Handy spell.
Because Jack, despite his everything, is kind of really squishy. So
yeah.
That is D4
For
plus
being a
4.
magic caster is being squishy.
That's 7.
Okay, so you're up to 28 hit points, right?
Yes.
Cool. I always like to keep track of that. Okay, super duper, you do that. What else do you do?
That took an action, so I think that's about all I can do because the other option is to disengage from Hyena Man, and I don't want to do that with my newly acquired hit point.
That's fair enough. No bonus points, no movement you want to do.
I don't think I can do anything else.
Okay, that's fine. I just always like to check because that's polite. I try to be a polite DM. And Toby, it is your turn now. What are you going to do? You are at a lower level. You're like between these two carriages, sort of sandwiched between them.
Well, I just want to ask, is the weasel that is drawn near where Tobias is, but still on the train and not in the
well, the
on
thing
the
is,
upper level, is the weasel near Tobias still here?
do you mean like on the outside of the train or inside? Because you're currently like on the level
Outside.
Inside. Yes, in fact, like especially the one that's in the carriage with the label 1, it's very near the door. You can definitely see it walking around in there.
Yeah, but outside.
Outside, no. You'd have to use your movement either way to reach somebody. Like, you're well within range, so you could, like, open the door and mash one of those weasels, or you can climb up onto the roof, because there are ladders, and, as I said, very many handholds and footholds on this train.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the others, because I don't have that much of.
That's the thing, like, he did tell you to make sure that you don't die. This is important.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna go in the second carriage, because there's only one way.
Yeah? Okay, so you're going... That's fine, you're going inside, are you? Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, you bust through the door, and there is only one weasel in here. There's a lot of cargo in here. There's lots of big crates, and that's all you're going to really notice unless you roll perception. You can roll perception. I will say that you don't have to use your action to do that. Do you want to do it?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So perception.
To be fair, you're also having to deal with like a change in light level, so this will also tell me like how well you can see, having gone like from very bright desert light to inside this slightly gloomy carriage.
Uh,
2. Okay,
dude,
yeah.
I don't see shit.
Yeah, you don't see shit. In fact, like, you're having a real time. Like, you didn't crit fail, so I won't, like, penalize you for it, because I'm, like, I want you to have a nice time. But you really don't see anything. You just see shadows in this place. The only thing you can really make out is there is a weasel who has been surprised by you and is going to do something about that unless you get him first.
Can I do something?
Yep, what are you going to do to this weasel?
Do I still have an action, or
Yeah,
was it
yeah. No, that was a free action because I just wanted to see how well or not you can see in this place.
Well, I'm gonna use Dissonant Whisper.
Ooh, fun.
You whisper a discordant melody that only one creature of your choice within range can hear, racking it with terrible pain. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic damage
Oh
and must
my.
immediately use its reaction.
Yeah, these weasels are...
If available to move as far away as possible.
10 is not going to do it. This weasel is not having a good day. What do you whisper to this poor creature? Like, and also, like, yeah, if there's damage, you have to roll for that.
I'm just gonna speak in a made-up language as if I'm reciting incantations.
Yeah, that would freak him out.
just to add to the effect. And that's all because...
Right, so it doesn't actually cause damage, did I get that wrong? But it's, like, really disordered.
Yeah.
Okay, distressed weasel. I am making notes here. Okay, yeah, that happens. You use your movement. Do you have any bonus movement things you want to do?
Not really, it's only 2 will.
Okay, that's fine. You've done that. Unfortunately, you don't get a style point because you went inside and the cameras aren't inside. I'm very sorry about that. Okay. And next in the turn, it is the hyenas, and there's one hyena that's already looking really miserable. So he's still going to like attack because that's his job is to protect this train. 22. Oh, March. Yeah, this guy definitely gets a hit on you, and it's actually going to be. Oh golly, hang on. Ugh. Writing and talking at the same time is very hard for someone with a tiny brain like mine. Okay, you get chomped for 6 damage. This hyena just bit you good on the leg, and yeah, that kind of stung, actually. And there is someone else who is... Okay, a 10. That doesn't do a very impressive job. So that was the hyena that was inside the first carriage. And that hyena has actually climbed up the outside. But because that was a 10, its acrobatics was like not sufficiently cool that it got up there in one go. So like it's still kind of like appearing over the side. Each round lasts 6 seconds. So March, when it's your turn next, you may want to take note of the fact that there is a hyena trying to get onto the roof. Okay.
Right.
And the other hyena that is going to move is the one that is engaged with Lucky Jack, not in the marriage sense. 5! Whiff again! Again, like, do you want to repeat the gag, or is there a new way that this hyena does not hit you?
He like, I kind of, can the hyena, like, swing and Jack just steps around it?
Absolutely. In fact, I want you to make an acrobatics roll. I want to see how this goes. This could be fun.
That's D20 plus 5.
14. Okay,
Alright.
you pirouette out of the way, and it's really cool. And your hat spins off and lands on your head again, and your cape swings out. Unfortunately, it's not like so good that the hyena like staggers and falls off the roof. But if you'd got like a 20 or something, I would have totally allowed that. Okay, that's all the hyenas. Now we have all the weasels. Oh my god, there's so many goddamn weasels on this fucking train. Okay, there's 2 weasels who are going to repeatedly attack March. I think they're both going to attack March because you're closest. And I'll just do both of them at once because that's easier for my brain. 17 hits, 15?
Yep.
15 hits? No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. No. Yes, it does.
does.
Gosh, you're a barbarian. Sorry, March is a barbarian, but his AC is 14, which is very surprising to me. But, okay, like, yeah, those both hit. They're not going to use the pop pistols this time, because they've realised that those are absolutely rubbish. And, so both of them are going to do, that one's, 4 plus 1, Okay, yeah, so you take
1, 4,
you
so
take 8 damage, and they sort of simultaneously punch you in the gut. Like, these weasels act like a twin unit and just go whoop, and you like so interestingly though,
one staggers backwards and he's like, ow.
yeah, interestingly though, this adds to the drama, so you actually get a style point for that. Taking hits can also earn you points. Just throwing that out there because we're gonna make a movie. Well, we don't have to, but
Cool.
gonna look cool. You're not even sure if this is like for a movie. They may just like sell this material to the newsreels or whatever. But it's good footage regardless. And the last weasel to go is the one that's on the second train thing, and that weasel is actually going to climb up and try and get Lucky Jack with a 12. Doesn't quite make it, does it? Nope. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Cranky. Yeah. So this weasel tries to like. I think it's because you're still spinning out of the way, and you like slap it in the face with your cape, and it just sort of reels back because it was not expecting ballet. And that's all that happens so far. The engineer is having a great time and thinks that you're all fantastic. But again, his priority is to get to his blood train, so he's just going to focus on the mission. 17, that'll do it. And he continues to run. And then something happens, because the next thing that he's got to cross is the Coal Cardian. With the 17, he definitely gets there. However, when the engineer starts to run across this fuel, you're not sure if it's coal, it's very strange looking stuff, but as soon as he steps on it, there is an awful sound. It's like a rumbling earthquake of grating rock, and it precedes a very deadly drum roll as rapid fire barrage of bullets explodes from underneath him, and he reels back from this sneak attack. And I am now going to roll damage for that, because he just like wouldn't see that coming, so he won't succeed. What's the actual damage for that? It's it's fully loaded, so it's a... I'm horrible to this poor character. 16. He takes 16.
You really are. Holy shit.
It stings quite a lot, but like that could be much worse. One of those rolls was a 1, so he takes that. But he's still been shot through, and he reels from this attack. And he also reels because the spectacle of a truly enormous serpent fills the air above him and any of you on top of the train as it oozes out of its hiding place in the coal. I want you all to roll history, people that can see this character. So that would be March and Lucky Jack. You can also see this person.
History, that's a 1.
3. Nope.
Wait, what's my
Jack
history?
doesn't know anything.
What's my history? History plus 1.
Here we go. Still flavor. Okay.
Yeah, that checks.
Nope.
That checks.
That's just a big snake.
Yeah, it's a damn big snake.
Fucking snake.
However, for the people listening who may have seen a certain movie called Rango, this is definitely like this dude. It's a terrible recolor with a gigantic purple mustache.
He has a fucking mustache.
Yeah, I thought I'd just go full DeviantArt on this. So this is Sidewinder Sam, and the engineer recognizes him. This is a notorious deadly hitman for hire, and he's just an all-around merciless mercenary who will do anything for the right price. In any case, the usual rattle tail of this Desert Viper is, in fact, a machine gun-like arrangement, and it smokes lightly, having just unloaded its entire contents into this director. And the engineer appears to, be immediately concerned, because he was not anticipating an enemy on this level to be here, and he's not concerned for himself. He is worried about you. And this snake, it just rears up out of the fuel and says, well, looky here. We got ourselves a passenger on board who don't got no ticket. Now that just won't do, see? 'Cause I've been hired out as the current security guard of this here train, and I don't take kindly to no stowaways. And he's there now, and that's a huge obstacle. Fortunately, that was his entire turn. However, I'm going to update the map, because you now have something else to deal with, and that's the scale of this guy.
Oh, wow.
He's a big guy. He's a big guy. Yeah. So enjoy that being added into the round. So he is now between, in initiative order, he's after the engineer. So, Snake McGee.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
So we're, just to make sure, we're all on top of the train, right?
Yeah, the engineer is on 3, as it were. He's like standing on the far left of this coal carriage now. You are on 2, I believe. So yeah, March, it is your turn. No, you're on 1.
I'm on 1.
You're way back there. Okay, so March, you have seen this happen because this guy's so big, but you're way back there, and you're still dealing with all of these characters. And to remind you, there is another hyena that is climbing up the outside of this carriage onto the roof. What do you do?
So March is probably first gonna try and attack the hyena's hands to try and like knock it off.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I just rolled to hit, I think. Just +5. A 9.
9.
No, it doesn't succeed. It doesn't matter what you were hitting with, but yep, you miss, and this hyena is going to make it onto the train within the next turn, unless you do something else. But that was 1 attack, actually. You're a barbarian, you have 2 attacks. What do you do now?
So I'm gonna use my other attack to. Actually, I'm gonna try to attack that same hyena again.
Okay. Okay, yeah, 17. 17 totally does it. How do you hit this character?
Mark just like runs, and while running, he swing the great axe and just like slices at his hand, just like a big smooth swing, just like while running.
Beautiful. It makes a sound like a gong as this hyena sort of paralyzes in midair for a second and then just disappears into the dust on the outside of this train because it has fallen off the train, so you don't have to deal with that hyena. Good choice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. However, you do still have movement, so it's up to you. Like, are you staying on this carriage or are you moving?
I think March is definitely going to start moving forward because there's a brand new enemy, and March can't just stay behind, holding off all these scrubs.
Okay. So do you move like forwards to the second carriage then? Is that what you?
Yeah.
Okay, because like I purposely designed these carriages to be 30 feet, so like yeah, in a round you would definitely cover that. Although you can move at 40 because you're a barbarian and they are great like that. But you're there. So you say hi to Lucky Jack, whose turn it is now.
And can Lucky Jack? I'm gonna have Okay. Lucky Jack pulls the hyena down by the ear, like, "Hey, I got something to tell you real quick. Pass it on to your boss."
Oh wow.
Can I? Would that be? Do I roll anything before that to see if I pull that off?
You know
Like
what?
Deception.
I kind of love this, so I want to let it happen. Go ahead. He's stupid.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that will work because they have a -2 for intelligence. Yeah.
Okay. And would you say the hyena's within 5? Not the hyena. The weasel, as well. Is it like 5 feet of me? Because like he did just try to attack me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he is. Yeah, for sure. Also, there's someone who's standing like directly beneath you. So if this is like a sphere attack, there's someone who's
that was 5 feet. 5 feet range.
5 feet range. I'm gonna say like all of those characters are within range.
Jack just claps his hands directly into the hyena's ears and casts Thunderclap.
Oh, marvelous! Really good.
Eat shit!
So everyone's got to roll Constitution.
Okay, that's such a good move. Yeah, that none of them have a plus to con. That's really good. It's just 3 rounds of d20. That sucks. That one does not succeed. 14?
What's the thing? What's the stat for the whether or not it saves
the saving
or fails?
Thing. Oh shit! I haven't got your character sheet open. I'm so sorry. Does anybody in the Chestnut Gallery know how you do that? Oh boy, this is where having a live audience can come in handy. Oh, there is frantic typing. Several people are typing.
They did a con save, but I forgot what stat that is to
what you have to beat.
Determine. I think I didn't write it down.
Oh my. You know what, like, how about let's just guess, like, how about 14? Does that sound fair?
Yes, like, his charisma is a 4, so...
Okay, I'm gonna say that. So, yeah, 2 of them fail, and 1 of them succeeds.
Okay, so then that is, 1d6.
1d6? Oh no! Oh, Lucky Jack! Oh, misfortune! How could you do this to your boy?
Misfortune, why?
Oh, that sucks. Hang on, wait, I'm supposed to take, like, half damage if I succeed? How do you get... Do they all just take 1 damage?
No. On a failed save, the creature takes damage. On the other, it does not.
Oh dear. Okay, 2 of them take 1 damage. That's really sad. Okay, so the weasels kind of wince, and the hyena just looks really confused. Like, why did you grab his ear? This is more intimate than he's used to. He feels uncomfortable.
It's supposed to create a burst of thunderous sound which can be heard 100 feet away.
Everybody looks up, like expecting it to be raining or some shit, but there's like nothing there.
Watch is like confused, just like, wait, what was happening? What?
I will say, like, yeah, that's the thing that you actually get out of this, is you confuse the hell out of everybody. And we cut to Toby, who is completely unaware of the new development of this gigantic reptile. Unless Lucky Jack, are there any bonus actions you want to make, or movement? Because you're kind of close to that giant snake. I will just say that.
Yeah, I'm very close to that giant snake, and I think I will take the chance of I gotta take an entire action to like disengage from the weasel and hyena, but I'll take that chance, I think.
Yeah, fine. It is in fact the hyena that you're really engaged with, so it will make an attack of opportunity if you do this. So, are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking my chances.
Okay. It does get hitten.
Ow.
It does get a hit in as you are retreating, which is very fitting because these hyenas are like cowardly mean things, and it slashes at you, That's not what you take because I really bungled that roll. That would have definitely been very unfair to give you an enemy that could do that much damage. My bad. What you actually take is this. 7. Okay, it swipes you across the back with its claws and you take 7 hit points of slashing damage.
So that's basically my false life gone.
Ooh. You're doing okay though. I mean, like, you're at 21. That's
Yeah,
good.
no, I'm doing pretty. I'm pretty okay, all things considered.
Yep, and again, it's quite dramatic because it rips part of your cape, and you see one of the owls holding the camera go, you know, looks kind of painful.
Jack now has approximately the same amount of health as March.
Okay.
March literally took almost half HP from all these hyenas just like slashing him and just hitting him.
Yeah, I mean, your hit points are good, but your AC is really shockingly low. May have to talk about that in another game.
Why? They're really sad.
Yeah, and it's quite funny because March and Jack, you like pass each other. Like, do you give each other a high five as you swap places?
Yes.
Nice.
Sure.
Friendship points, extra ones. Okay, now we go to Tobias, and you are inside the second carriage with this very confused weasel who's distressed because you did that horrible thing to him. But yeah, that's where you're at.
I wanted to use my rapier because I have one.
Use your what? Sorry, I missed
And,
that word.
My rapier.
Oh yes, yeah, sure. I mean, like, go ahead, do a thing.
I'm sliding over to this weasel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna try to hit it then.
Okay.
So, what do I roll? I never used it.
Your rapier, you roll to attack. Yeah. So it's plus whatever your attack bonus is. So where it says like what your weapons are, it ought to have like a little code for what you roll to hit. Okay, so it's a d20 plus whatever that is. 15, that'll do it. Yeah, you definitely hit.
Yay!
Yeah.
So it's 1d8 plus 2.
Ooh, nice. Yes, go for it. Such a shame this isn't being caught on film. A 4. Okay. Even so, like, these weasels are not very strong, and you basically really took him by surprise because you did that thing to him before, so he's, like, kind of still messed up, and then you stab him! Like, you just shink.
Give it a little stab!
Just give him a little stab. Just get a little bit more aeration. It's very hot in this train, you know, it's
Just a
ventilation.
little stab, come on!
Just a little stab.
Yeah, you need that ventilation, come on.
Bit of an injection.
We all
Okay.
need a little stab in life.
Okay, so you do that. However, you still have movement and you still have bonus actions. Are you staying in this carriage with this weasel, or are you doing anything else?
I stay here.
Yep, that's
Just in front of him with my little rapier, giving him a little stab.
that's fine. In fact, what I'm actually going to do is do a passive perception roll for you. Nope, you don't notice anything. You did hear some sort of clattering before, but you know there's a lot of clattering. It's a train. They go ka-choo, 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 ka-choo. You just think it was like going around a corner or something. So you are completely oblivious as to the chaos which is happening outside.
It's
The
not
chaos.
like there's a big giant snake.
No, that'd just be silly. I mean, who would come up with something like that? Okay, so we now have a reversal of situation because Lucky Jack, while you have removed yourself from the frying pan, you have leapt into a fire because you are on the roof of the first carriage, which has 2 weasels and a hyena on it. However, the hyena is looking really unhealthy, and the twin weasels don't look too bad, but the hyena for sure is feeling pretty sore, and he's gonna try and attack you. An 8 is not going to do it. He's looking really ropey and makes the same sort of slashing movement as the one that got you in the back, but it just goes wide. There's nothing cool or dramatic about it. He's just like on the ropes and doesn't make it. On the roof of the second carriage, however, we now have March and the other hyena. So we do this dance again. 10 doesn't do it. Yeah, March, do you want to describe that?
The reason they have such a low, like, armor class is because I'm unarmored.
Yeah.
I'm categorized as unarmored. Is that why?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's good because it gives you more movement. But you, in the future, you may want to purchase a shield. You are allowed to do that. So.
Because I have no idea how to do that.
It's fine. I'll talk with you afterwards. Anyway, this is like your first game, and you were coming to an audition. You weren't expecting to have to battle people on a train.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Yeah, I think that's all the hyenas because the other one is inside and the other one is dead because you fell off a train at high speed, which is great. That was a very good move, I have to say. Like, stomp on the foot, just let them go. Wilhelm scream into the distance. However, we've now got all the weasels. So we have 2 weasels that are going to have a go at Lucky Jack. I really hope you're lucky. Because they both have a +3, a 16.
Nope.
Yep. Sorry, my brain is melting. It's so hot here. You have no idea, I'm melting here. Okay, this works. You duck one of them, but the other one undercuts the other. So one hand goes sailing above you, but the other one goes straight into your gut, and you take a d4 +2. You take 6 damage. Yep, that was a bit of a winding blow that you have taken. Yep. Nasty. Sorry. Also, you know, if you want to say like dramatic lines or go, you can totally do these sorts of things.
Oh, I'm just imagining like he's about to say a quip, but he just gets socked in the jaw.
Oh, the socks. What a shame. Okay, and then we're actually going to go to the weasel who has just been stabbed by this random dude who just appeared and did something. However, like, you did like a horrible thing to him. Can he attack or is he at like disadvantage? Remind me.
It's just I don't know because I did not whisper, but did not really hit.
It did hit him.
Just kind of confused him.
It confused him. But like, can you read like the effects of that spell again? I'm afraid I was like looking up stats when you were doing it before, so I'm not sure like how I have to respond to this.
You whisper discordant melody that only one creature of your choice within range can hear, racking it with terrible pain. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, it takes 3d6 psychic damage.
Oh my goodness, well, we didn't do that.
Immediately use its reaction.
Oh, we didn't do that. So I will do that this round, because, yeah, I should definitely have done that. He has absolutely no wisdom. An 18 does succeed. However, I'm going to do it again, because I flubbed up, and I should have done that last time. 4! That doesn't do
I
it!
didn't realize.
Excellent. Okay, you give him a delayed round of huge amount of damage. Do you want to roll that for me?
Yeah.
I am sorry. There's a lot to keep track of here. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's alright, we're all dying.
We're all dying inside. A 12! This guy, like, you just ran him through. And, like, I tell you what, this is why this took so long. These weasels are so stupid. Like, it took like an extra round for him to realize that you just killed him. And he just like looks really confused and in pain for a second and then just goes and falls over. He is super dead. 100% dead. He explodes. But like in a cartoony way. It's like not too gruesome. He just goes, he literally goes pop. The weasel goes pop.
Yeah. Oh God, pop the weasel.
Marvelous.
It's all coming out to the front.
In fact, on the roof, March, you see the ghost of a weasel, like, floats up through the floor past you, like, strumming a little harp, and off he goes.
He's, like, waving to the ghost, like, bye!
he gives you a peace sign.
Please tell me that was captured on camera.
Oh, it absolutely was. So everybody knows that whatever's going on downstairs, like, Tobias is doing pretty good. However, there is one more weasel who's going to take a crack shot at March, who is in range for his little pop pistol. 15! That will do it. And again, it's this really rubbish, like, they're actually toys. You get the feeling like they were told that these were actual guns, but their artificer is not very good. So that hits you for 2 hit points.
So, 2 hit points again?
Just 2 hit points you take for that.
Yeah, alright.
It pings off
So,
you.
Mark is really starting to get annoyed. This is... Stop hitting me with rubber or whatever cork bullets. I'm going to stop messing around and actually he's going to he's gonna try and hit the weasel, but just
Okay.
shot him.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid you can't do that this round, but keep note of it, because when it gets to your turn,
Right.
when it gets to your turn,
Right,
you can
yeah, my turn,
absolutely
yeah.
do that. We now go to the engineer, who is actually kind of freaking out, because this is a bad situation. This is a bad situation. He had taken in reports that there were definitely weasels and hyenas on this train, and he thought this was just like a bunch of low-level mooks who were joyriding his train. This is not that. This is apparently a lot more than that. So now you have to deal with this. He like rapid fire goes through his brain like what to do, and he goes into director mode and claps his hands, turns around very calmly and says, "All right, change of plan. I'll keep this chap occupied if any one of the 3 of you," and he's actually saying this very loudly. Gosh, he wishes he had like stones of fast speech or anything that he could like tell you these instructions like, you know, subtly, but subtle is out of the window right now. I will deal with the gigantic venomous snake. One of you or all of you get to the engine room. I will try to shout instructions to you. Otherwise, just trust your gut. Listen to Willow. She will tell you what to do. And he's going to try and attack this giant snake to keep the heat off you guys. So,
Wait, just a second. You hear the small voice of Tobias saying, "What's that about the venomous snake?"
don't worry about it. I've got it handled, lad. And he's you may have noticed he's got a nice little sort of holster belt situation going on. He does not pull a gun out of it, but it is this sword, which some of you may recognize, because it's this giant pink flaming thing that apparently he has now. There's no explanation been given. He's never had this before. Okay, a 7 doesn't hit and a 14 doesn't hit. The snake is very fast, and this is very shocking because you've seen the engineer in action very recently, and he's a good fighter. So this blur of pink neon swips either side, but the snake is just like so dexterous, it just winds its way around, and it just kind of looks at him pitifully and says, "Oh, now come now, don't say all the rumors weren't true." And the engineer is going to have to make a wisdom save. What's this wisdom again? It's a +1, that ain't great. Okay. 14. He looks like he is trying really hard not to look at those big serpenty eyes, but they are falling, and they're falling, and the engineer just kind of goes still and wavers slightly, and he has been hypnotized. He is basically asleep.
Oh no.
And because that one succeeded, the snake can use its bonus action to wind itself around the engineer, and the engineer is effectively prone. It is very much wrapped around the engineer and gives him a nice big squeeze. Yeah,
Just a little hug.
yeah, he's giving him a nice
Right,
big
yeah.
hug. Unfortunately,
Everything is fine.
incredibly, the engineer is so hearty that he still only takes 3 damage. However, it does, like, you know, because he's taken damage, it jolts him out of this stupor that he's got into. So the next round he will be able to try and do something about this situation, but he's very much in the coils of a gigantic venomous snake. Great. Super. That's awesome. Okay, March. You see all of this and you have heard these instructions. What do you do?
So March is like to himself, like, alright, chain of plans. Try and run by the snake.
Yeah, great. Roll me athletics or acrobatics, whichever.
Athletics, baby.
Ordinarily, I would also give you stealth, but in this situation, like, everyone can see everybody. I don't think that was ever an option. Stealth was never an option. 14. A 14. You know what? He's occupied with the engineer, so I'm gonna say like you get part way. You have to go around this gigantic snake though, because you can't go across the coal caddy. You have to like drop down, and you're like hanging onto the side of this very fast moving train on this coal caddy, which does have handholds, so you know it's not absolutely impossible. But yeah, you're halfway along. That's where you are with that. Is there anything else you want to do, like a bonus action? I don't think you have anything.
I don't have a bonus action. I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's a really good dramatic way to leave you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marcia just was hanging by.
Yeah.
Hanging
that's
out.
fine. Okay.
You're the giant venomous snake.
Oh, wait. I've got confused because... Oh, no. I got twice confused. You were in the right place to do that. Ignore me. And we will move on and pretend that nothing just accidentally happened. Jack, what's your situation?
What?
I goofed.
I'm kind of regretting moving back because now I have a plan, but it requires being a little closer to the giant snake.
Okay, well you
But
can move, so.
I guess I'm just gonna clap in the face of the hyena who just tried to swipe at me again.
Yep, sure. Go ahead.
Would that affect the weasels too? I hope it does.
Oh yeah, they're definitely all over you. Like everybody's very friendly on this train.
Yeah. The DC is 14.
Okay.
So
16 succeeds. That one does not. And that one succeeds. Oh, that's a shame. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, one of them fails, two of them succeed, I believe.
Okay. So that's
Oh wait, did you say 16 was the to beat?
It was a 14 to beat.
Bummer. Never mind. Okay.
So yeah, that's only one of them gets affected by it.
The good news is it was the hyena that failed. So and that's the one that's looking pretty bad.
Crossing my fingers.
A 5.
That's a 5.
5. This hyena, he doesn't die. This is the interesting thing. He drops to 1 hit point, and he's like, you know what? I am not being paid enough for this. And he just like staggers back with his paws up and goes down the ladder and just like drops off down to the lower platform and is going to do what he can to escape. But he is out of conflict. He does not want to fight you anymore.
I thought you were going to say, but he falls off the train.
Oh no, he would die if he did that.
Does that
He, like, walks backwards and then just like falls.
Can I get back on the second carriage, but like right behind the like top bit, so I'm like hidden from giant snake?
You absolutely can, but again, you're going to have to risk taking an attack of opportunity by doing so.
Okay.
Yeah, is that what you want to do? It's entirely up to you. The only remaining people are these weasels, and they're pretty weak.
I'm weighing my options here. Give me a second.
It's fine. It's an important decision.
Oh, I will. It's Jack.
Cool.
He's reckless.
Okay.
He's lucky.
He is lucky. Oh, not lucky enough to avoid a 20.
So lucky.
A dirty 20. And a 10. Okay, so one of them misses you, but you do get corked in the back of the head, so you take 2 hit points of damage. And you're
so lucky.
I think the worst part of this is that your hat is knocked slightly askew.
Oh no!
No.
Not the hat!
Okay, so yeah, you're on the other carriage. You have used up your action and your movement, but you have bonus actions, and of course, speech is a free move.
I don't have anything to say, and considering I'm trying to stay kind of hidden, I mean, not that that's much of an option considering the snake is big, and I just used a very loud spell. twice.
That's true. On the other hand, like, everybody seems to be doing their own shit right now, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you do. Tobias, you are in the dark, quite literally, but you have had some audio to fill you in on the situation. What do you do?
Well, I'll use my movement to get to the passageway, to the next passageway.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Tobias says, "Oh, that's what the venomous snake was about."
Bless you.
Like, oh, that's the snake.
But honestly, he's gonna look around. He sees Marsh trying to get to the engine room.
Mhm.
He doesn't see Jack anywhere. He sees the engineer who doesn't seem to have the to control the situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna disobey the orders. He's gonna help the engineer
Oh, baby.
by using vicious mockery.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh,
Please give,
go on.
please give him a message because it's not the engineer.
Go on yourself,
I'm a
woman. Do
master.
it.
That's what I am.
Okay.
So
how does this work?
Let's see if it hits first. Vicious mockery. You unleash a string of insults, of course. If the target can hear you, it must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or take 1d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes.
Oh boy, this is great. I tell you also why it's great, because this guy actually has a -2 to wisdom. A 3! Oh!
Yay!
Beautiful.
Okay, so you know what I'm gonna say just to catch his attention? Hey, snake, you slide around with that skin? When was the last time you molded?
He looks so insulted immediately, but also really confused. Like, who is this? Why would you ever want to draw attention to yourself and aggravate him like this? So, like, he's equal parts actually insulted and bewildered.
Because if he has his attention on me, maybe the engineer can free himself.
You know what? I'm gonna say, like, yeah, he's distracted, so I will give the engineer, well, actually,
Shouldn't he also take psychic damage?
yes, he's going to take damage, so please roll that, but I'm making a
1d4.
note that the engineer will have advantage on escaping next time.
Yay.
A 1?
Aww.
1.
A 1?
Just to get his attention.
You know what? That actually kind of
It
adds.
was not...
That adds to it because this is so like it wasn't what the
Such a
instruction
petty
was.
insult.
Tobias has giant snake eyes on him, and it just says, "Yeah, that wasn't my best insult."
Oh boy, but that like adds to it because you've got this. There is a large disparity in the strength of these two characters, and yet you
I'm
gutsy
still the
little
comic
bugger.
relief.
You brave little man. And the other person that is aware of what you just did is the engineer. And I can't even tell you what he's feeling right now. But my goodness, he's very proud of you, but also hugely concerned. The hyenas, however, are next. And the one who's like on the second carriage sees this and is just like, oh, that kid's gonna die. It's like, wow, that kid is dead. However, he's also kind of like, I'm trying to decide what to do with this hyena because he doesn't want to get in the way of the giant boss snake who's like, you get the feeling like they've been briefed on the situation as well, and like he's been told basically to keep out of the way, and that's what he does. He actually just stays where he is, and the problem is he has a flintlock pistol, and there's someone else who is in range that he is going to try and hit with that. And it doesn't hit the engineer. In fact, because the engineer is wrapped up in the snake, it hits the snake! Oh, I love it! I love it! That's so good! Okay. 2. Okay. That's really funny. This hyena accidentally shoots his own boss. And even though like that happened, it was...
It's just like dead pants.
Oh boy. And because it was such a small amount of damage, Like, the snake barely flinches, but, like, he definitely registered that. And the hyena drops the gun and jumps off the train, because he would rather face obliteration from hitting the dirt than the wrath of this snake.
Oh my god!
So that hyena is gone.
No.
That hyena is gone.
Hey, real quick, can Jack call dibs on the gun?
I mean, yeah, it just fell to the floor. I don't know if you have like proficiency in using firearms or.
Oh,
like...
absolutely not.
Okay, so yeah, I don't even know what you add to use that, but it does like a straight D8 for damage if you do want to use it. So if you have that, you have that.
D8 is better than what I have.
Okay, yep, that's what that is. Weasels. I now have lots of weasels to think about. There are 2 weasels on the first carriage, and they see this happen, and they're just like, and they are out of range. They would be able to use their pop guns, but they're pathetic. They're gonna stay where they're at. The last remaining weasel that is in action is on the second carriage, and is a little more brave. Is a little more brave than the others, and is actually going to chase after you, Marge, and is going to make an acrobatics check to see if he can like follow you.
Please fail, please fail.
12. He's not doing well. He doesn't really catch up to you, so he can't attack you, is what I will say. But he is clinging onto the side of the coal carriage. And after that, it's the engineer who has just seen this incredibly plucky UPA stick up for him. And you may know that he has a bit of a trauma thing with UPANs, and definitely wants to look after him. And so he's going to use that advantage. He's gone into a rage, in fact, so he gets 3 lots of advantage to break out of this stranglehold. And it doesn't unlike the first go, so, but I will keep rolling to see if he crits, because if he crits, something else will happen. It seems unlikely, though. 22, though. 22 is really good. You know what? I'm gonna give it.
You'll be looking kinda fresh, though.
Yeah, he's gone from, like, that normal orange to very much brighter orange to that very glowing, molten metal glass orange, and he just sort of appears to slightly explode. Like, there are actually embers that appear from like within the coils of the snake as it heats up, and he just pushes out with all 4 of his tiny little limbs, and the coils sort of go bushk, and the snake has to struggle to like regain control of itself, because it is just like one big wiggle, and the wiggle has been greatly disturbed by this explosion of anger. And yeah, he has escaped. He has very much escaped the snake. And fortunately, because he's a barbarian, I'm going to say he only gets 1 attack, because like that will almost count as an attack. But he is going to try and like get the snake's attention very much on him again. 25 and nat 20! A nat 20! I mean, the dice have spoken. This furious little ball of rage jumps up, and yeah, he's absolutely going to longsword this guy in the face. Like, just that is what happens. +2. Oh my god, there's so many things you have to add for this damn sword. It's a really good sword, but rolling attack for it is a nightmare, because it's a pain in the ass.
Beautiful.
A 17. Smash, slam, bam. Yeah, and the thing is, like, he's aiming for this snake's eyes because it hypnotized him, and that's a really bad thing. But he's also, like, absolutely wanting to piss this snake off as much as possible, so it does not attack Tobias. And that works! That works, and this snake now has a very big scar over its left eye, and it is partly on fire, and literally recoils, and sort of scrunches in on itself. And this is very, very good, because what it was also going to do for its bonus round in this next round was start to reload that machine gun tail, but it's so distracted by the pain and the outrage of this that it is just going to attack the engineer. It is furious. So, yeah, he's going to go ahead and try and... Oh, yeah, do it! Okay. So,
what's the engineer's armor class?
The engineer's armor class is 18, but a 20 will beat that. So, yeah. Also, you almost get the impression that he's not trying to dodge, because, like, he wants this snake to not attack you guys. 9 damage, and too bad, but this is painful, because, you know, snakes have teeth.
Oof.
Yeah, it's, like, and this snake is really big, so, like, proportionally getting bitten by a gigantic snake when you're a very small bird, like,
Yeah,
it's
not good.
It's not good. So that's a big old chunk of 9 poison damage, and I have to make a constitution check to make sure that I have not been poisoned.
Big old corn.
That's a 6. 15 does it. He does not succumb to the venom. Fantastic.
Yes!
Good. He is not going to continue to take damage from that. So yeah, he just like...
Well, I know what I'm doing next time.
Yeah, he manages to shake off the effects, and there are no witty lines to be said between either of them. This is just all business. March, you are clinging to the side of this coal carriage. There is a weasel pursuing you, but the end of your journey is in sight. What do you do?
March is just going to ignore the weasel that's chasing him and just like go forward.
Yeah.
Like if he gets onto if the weasel gets to flat ground, he'll probably will attack him. But he just goes forward. Just he has his target. He's just going there.
That's fine. I will ask you to make an acrobatics roll, but if it goes really well, I will say that we continue.
Can I do
this action.
athletics?
Sorry? Oh yeah, all athletics. Yeah, that's fine. Depending on how well this goes, we may go into something else that happens in the engine room. 18 is fantastic! Yeah, totally. You effortlessly swing yourself. Like, you don't even, like, walk around this train. You just let go with your feet, hang on with your arms, and catapult yourself forward into the engine room. And you are there next to the firebox.
Very useful that I have four arms.
Yeah, that's a plus. It really is. And you land in the machinery of this engine room, which looks really complicated. Like, the engineer was like, let Willow tell you what to do. Holy crap, there's so many levers in here. But you also are face to face with, you may notice, this hyena is slightly bulkier than the others, but it turns around and is very surprised to see you there.
Can March attack?
Sorry, I couldn't hear both of you there. What?
Can March roll to attack?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you rolled really well for that movement thing, and I'm just like, yeah, let's have this. 25. Not 20! Oh my! Oh gosh, with the crits today, the engineer and now you. Oh, actually, that's right. I rolled a crit, so that snake took more than 17 damage. I'll have to calculate what that actually was.
So I've realized that I've been using the wrong damage for my great axe. I needed to do a 1d12 instead of 1d8.
Really? I've got it down as like 1d8 here. So, I mean, I'm
the
happy to take it.
It's the great hammer. It's the war hammer. Sorry, I mixed them up.
Okay, fine. Yep. That's nice. 8. Whammo blammo. You sock this hyena, but good. But you have another attack.
So it's double damage, right?
Double that? No, it's it. Oh yeah, it is because you critted. Thank you for helping me keep track of things. It is 1,000 degrees in here, and I am not built for it because I'm English. Holy shit, I'm dying. Okay, yes, you definitely do the double damage. Amazingly, this hyena is still standing. So you have a second attack to make sure that this hyena does not continue to stand. 14 is not going to hit. I'm afraid this guy's AC is 15. So it actually manages to block that blow on the flat of its arm, and it's very unhappy. Oh, it is snarling. It is snarling at you. But I'm going to pile its turn in with the other hyenas, so it has to wait. You did fantastic, Luke. That's really, really good.
Woo!
Very nice. Jack, what are you doing, you sneaky rabbit, you?
Going to climb onto the raised roof of the second carriage and yell at the snake.
Oh my god.
Hey, you oversized shoelace, can't you see the fuel's on fire? And I'm going to cast Phantasmal Force.
Oh,
to start a little imaginary flame.
that's a really good idea. Go. I mean, yeah. Do you roll anything?
Okay, that's I think did I not okay. So give me a second.
Also,
Okay,
Tobias
so
writes
spell-
down oversight show lives.
Yeah, it's a good
To
one, huh?
keep it for
Yep.
next time.
Write it down.
It was
Down.
Keep that in your
Got it
back
down.
pocket.
Okay, so D20 plus. That's yeah. I think. Do I roll? I'm pretty sure if I'm casting, I roll, right? I
Yeah.
have not played magic users before. So
I
that's
haven't
a D20 plus 4.
Yeah.
Let's
I feel bad. I haven't used this spell before, so I can't actually say.
It's an 11.
An 11. I'll say like it's sort of convincing. I feel like the snake ought to roll wisdom to see if it falls for it.
Yeah. That's the like you craft. Okay. You craft an illusion that takes root in the mind of a creature that you can see within range.
Mhm.
The target must make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay, well, disregard that that wisdom then. Unfortunately, this guy does have a +1 to intelligence. A 2! A crit 1! He falls for it completely! Oh my god, this snake really
A
believes it is on
closet
fire.
sinker.
And
It was way better in soul.
so that would be while a target is affected by the spell, the target treats the phantasm as if it were real.
Yeah.
Yada. Each round on your turn, the phantasm can deal 1d6 psychic damage to the target if it is in the phantasm's area or within 5 feet of the phantasm, provided that the illusion is of a creature or hazard that can logically deal damage.
Oh, this is beautiful. I'm so happy. Yeah, absolutely roll for that because this snake 100% believes that the fuel is on fire, and so is it. Also, it just took fire damage to its face, so like it's very much in the zone. It takes 5 damage. It takes 5 psychic damage. Oof. Yeah, that's the this is going well. This is going well, guys. I gotta say, and it's panicking as well. Like you see the undercoils of it like kind of bunch up again. And it's really freaking out about this, and that is going to affect what it does on its next turn for sure. Is there anything else you want to do? That was incredible.
Also, I am going to say that this okay, the duration is concentration and up to a minute, so I guess I gotta stay within, like, sight range of this snake.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, great job. That was really, really good. Fantastic. Okay, I think, Toby, it's your turn now.
Oh, you know what? I'm using Healing Ward on the engineer. I do not want him to die.
Okay.
So, Healing Ward on the little boy.
Oh,
Little man.
that's very, very kind of you. So roll to heal me for that amount. I think it's, what, D4 plus your spellcasting?
1d4 plus my spellcasting ability, so
Yeah.
+3.
Okie dokie. Also, I will remind you all that you all have those really handy-dandy little healing potions in case
Yay.
any of you need it.
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
an excellent roll.
Yeah,
That's
but
6.
the engineer doesn't have one, from what I know.
No. He tends to travel light, and but he's very much aware of what you just did. He feels a lot better, yeah, he loves you so much. Oh my god, this is so going to come out in the post
You told
game
us
situation.
not to die, but you you don't gotta die either.
Oh my gosh, I love Tobias so much. Again, like you kind of see this flare of gold come off him. Like he's so determined now. He loves all of you so much, but like Tobias, you're in adoption territory, son. Like this is he loves you. And is there anything else you would
Watch
like
out,
to do?
you're in
I can see
danger
the
of being
adoption
adopted.
papers out of the corner.
Sorry, I missed both of that.
I can see the
Yeah.
I can see the adoption papers out of the corner of my eyes.
Yeah, it's just like it's right there. Okay, so that happened, but you still have movement and an action, I believe, because healing word is a bonus action.
Yeah, so I'm gonna use, well, you know what, I'm using Dissonant Whisper on him.
On the snake?
On big boy oversized shoelace,
Oh my
as my
gosh.
fellow bunny said.
So good.
So it's wisdom saving
Oh,
throw.
my bad. Sorry, I totally spaced out on that. I knew that, really. Hey, no.
Yay.
He's having the worst time. The snake is horribly and, like, mental onslaught on this snake.
He's being attacked by tiny people.
Yes. It's a very Lilliputian situation we've got going on here.
So do I do the psychic damage?
Yeah, you do the psychic damage, for sure.
Yeah. 3d6.
Oh!
13!
13! This is really stacking up. Because I will say, like, the snake had a lot of hit points, but, like, you are chipping away at this guy. Absolutely. Oh
The
my.
Grolix is back.
Yeah. He's freaking out. He thinks he's on fire. He's been insulted and called a shoelace, and now something else has happened. He's so confused. So... Okay, there you go. And again, I will point out you do still technically have movement, and you're not that far away from the train engine. But you may just want to stay where you are.
I think Marsh's got it. I prefer to stay and be the support and use healing ward in case.
Yeah, great.
So I'm gonna stay right where I am.
What a noble little creature you are. That's fantastic. And the next round is the hyenas, and this is very easy for me because there is only one hyena left, and it is the big guy who is in the room with March, who is very, very annoyed. However, there's 7! He absolutely doesn't. March, tell me how cool this looks. Like, what do you do to stop this blow or avoid it?
The hyena launch forwards, and then March takes out his javelin and sticks it in the floor and trips up the hyena.
Oh, love it. That's great. Yeah, he does the 1-2 smacks into something thing, because you're in a train, it's not huge, it's 10 feet wide, and this actual engine room is only 15 feet long, and there's a lot of mechanical stuff in here. And what happens is he trips over and he hits a lever, and this is the Johnston bar, which will mean probably nothing to any of you, but it's also called the reverse bar in the UK, and he has just pushed it forwards instead of back. So you suddenly feel the train very sharply lose impetus, and the train is going to stop, and then it is going to reverse, so it is going to go back, going forwards. But we will come to that when it comes to that. The thing that I will make happen now because of that is the Weasels remaining will have to make a dex save. 21 will do it. Actually, I'm just going to say that's a collective roll. Can all of you also roll dex?
Do I need to roll dex?
Yeah, a dex saving throw, I'm going to say this is. I will also do this for the engineer.
So, since I'm in a rage, does that mean I get, what? There's something about
I don't know if you
being
get
in a
it.
rage.
I don't know if you get it for dex, but you get it for strength-based rolls. So I don't believe this would actually count for that. I'm also doing the snake. Snake does succeed. I'm gonna say if it's over a 10, you succeed.
Okay, so dex +1.
Oof, 11. Well done. You just about did it. 21. No problem.
Not 20 again.
That's great. Actually, that makes perfect sense because March, you witnessed this happen, so you knew that this was going to happen. So you brace yourself, and the train suddenly slowing down doesn't affect you particularly. The Weasels are amazingly dexterous, in fact, but they are very light, wiggly things, so it does make sense that they save themselves. Lucky Jack and Tobias, I almost called him Lewis. Sorry. You get a bit caught by surprise, but you manage to catch yourself. The only person who doesn't succeed is the guy who you've all been trying to protect very sweetly. And the engineer actually kind of shoots backwards. Hang on, which way is the train going? Oh no, he goes forwards. Anyway, he kind of slams into the wall of the locomotive train, in fact, and he's going to take... I think a d4 plus 2 is fair. 3. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. He sort of goes, whoop, bop, bop.
Yes.
Yeah, he bounces and lands, and fortunately doesn't fall off the train. But he does take that. He does take a smack to the head. That's fine. He's had many of those. And what? Whose turn is it now? Oh, is it the Weasels' turn? Yes, it is. The Weasels at the back are staying out of the way. The one that is actually in action is the one who's trying to clamber around to get into the train. Oh, that's a 7! That's a 7! This Weasel who's been so heroically clinging to the outside of the coal carriage somehow manages to not get thrown off the train with its deck save, but it can't manage to get into the locomotive because it just can't. It's tired, its hands are kind of messed up. You know when you've been clinging onto something and your wrists are like, no, I hate this. Why? So
Yeah.
this very sort of
I know.
limp creature just about staggers to the doorway of the engine room, but isn't going to be able to do anything this turn. And then it's the engineer's turn, who has sort of been flung off this snake, but easily shakes it off. 3 hit points for this guy's nothing. Absolutely nothing. He loves all of you so much, and he's absolutely going to wail on this guy. He's very, very angry. And one of those hits, one of them actually sort of glances off these snake's scales, because it's a very big, shiny, armoured creature, what can I tell you? But he is actually going to do this. Hyenas, plus 2, and plus 2d6. 13! Okay, yep, this snake gets a good old slice of health chunked out of him, but he's actually still very distracted by the fact that this snake thinks he's on fire and has had this mental assault. In fact, the engineer stabbing him is the least of his concerns. Like, that hurt a lot, but this snake is absolutely freaking out something royal. And because he thinks the fuel is on fire, he's actually going to try and move.
Also,
oh, sorry, yeah.
give me a second. The target can use its action to examine the phantasm with an intelligence investigation check.
Here's the
against
thing.
the spell save DC.
Here's the thing. Because there is fire on trains, he associates the engineer with fire. The engineer was just exploding, and he's really confused from the dissonant whisper. I don't think he would. I don't think he would be able to step back and make that kind of analysis. So I'm actually going to say he just, tries to escape from this fire, and he's going to move onto the second carriage, which will be a dex thing. 19, no problem. He's huge. He just kind of lumps his body over onto the other carriage. Unfortunately, this is where some of you are, so that may introduce itself as a problem to you, Jack. I'm particularly looking at you. In fact, Jack, can you make me a dex save?
Okay. Just dex?
Yeah, just dex.
Okay, that's a d20 plus 3.
A 6 doesn't do it, my friend. The thing is, the snake is not trying to attack you, but it's big. It's big, and you take...
It's big.
Oh, fortunately, that only hit I rolled a d6, people listening, and that was a 1. So you take 1
Just
bludgeoning.
a little slap.
You take 1 bludgeoning damage from gigantic snake bumping into you. That's what happens.
Snake go bonk.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say that's all that he does. He's so vexed that he doesn't even think to attack anybody in this round, and he hasn't reloaded his tail. So
He's just tired of the shit.
yeah, he again you remember how that hyena was like, I'm not being paid enough for this shit. This snake is also starting to think that. Yeah, he's better quality than this. He doesn't deserve this kind of treatment.
Make him regret his life.
Yeah,
Make him regret aborting the will-o-wisp.
But March, it is your turn. You have this hyena who's just face planted into the reverse lever, and that's where we're at.
So March is definitely rolling to attack.
15.
Does 15 do it?
It does. It meets his armor class, so I'm going to say that it hits.
Alright, so 1d12 plus 3.
Oh,
12 damage.
yeah. I've got to do this. I got to do this just because it's so funny and ironic justice. You hit this guy so hard that he not only falls out of the train door as this train is accelerating forwards again, it takes out the weasel that was about to clamber in, because he was, like, right in the door. He cannonballs into this poor, weak-wristed weasel, and the two of them go stumbling and bumbling out onto the railroad as this train escapes them in the forwards direction. And that's what happens. That's what happens. You are, however, still in the engine room, and you are surrounded by levers and whistles and all sorts. The train is starting to move forwards, but you can do something about this.
So here's what I'm going to do. Since I have a feeling we're close to the end, I am going to use my inspiration point
Ooh.
to navigate to navigate the train, like control the train and like lead it to safety.
That's wonderful. You observed like this Johnston bar. You actually now understand what that thing does because you had a demonstration. And but you also, like, when you start putting your hands on things and like turning these valve gauge things and pressing buttons, it is weird. It is like little Willow is kind of talking to you, and you kind of understand what each of these things does, even though you've never touched it before. It's kind of spooky, but like in a good way. It's almost like that nostalgia for a place you've never been. What's it called? Deja vu. It feels like you've been in here before somehow.
March is absolutely just smiling.
It's lovely.
Just like, let's do this, baby. It's time to go.
Okay, so what do you want to do with her? You can drive this train.
So can March use? Is there like some sort of like intercom or something?
Yes, there is. There's a speaker system.
So he uses a speaker. He turns on the speaker system. Is like, all right, listen up, everyone. We have gotten control over the train. Hyenas and Weasels, if you don't want to get bashed over the head, I advise you to go to the first carriage and surrender your weapons.
There's an immediate response to this. You hear doors opening, you hear weapons hitting the floor, and yeah, these guys have no spine, absolutely no spine. And those who have been witnessing the fight with this gigantic snake, they thought this guy was untouchable. This snake is panicked, it has taken a lot of damage, and it does not look like it can keep them safe. They are giving up completely, they are surrendering.
Right. Now he forwards the. There's another. Now he says, "All right, now to you people, and Engineer Tobias Jack, I'm trusting you with defeating this oversized shoelace." And
That's his name now.
Yeah, he's the shoelace.
Yeah. and. Well, I'm gonna navigate us all to safety.
Incredible. That's just amazing. That's your amazing turn, and after that, Jack, it's your turn.
Okay. This snake's probably left the range of damage, yeah?
Unfortunately, that is the case. I hate to say it, but yeah.
Alas. Can I... you know what? Thunderclap.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Although... yeah, Thunderclap. I only have, like, ranged weapons that can make like, any more damage, but... I don't know how well that's gonna work. Point blank.
Yep, that's fine. So is that a dex save I have to make, or?
That is a Constitution saving throw.
Constitution saving throw. Hang on, let me just check what that is for this guy. It is not amazing. It is a +1. There we go. 19, unfortunately. Sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Oh, bummer. Again, like, everybody looks up, like, even the engineer's like, is it gonna rain or what? Like, it's just really weird.
What's with all this thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Maybe you should just, like, afterwards, just, like, rain a bit, just a little drizzle.
Okay, Okay, well that kind of didn't work, but what is there anything else you want to do?
Is Jack like pinned by the snake or something?
No, he just got bumped by it. Like, the snake was not paying attention to you. That was basically accidental damage.
Okay. I think I can probably let's keep the spell going since it's, I don't know, let's say it's been like half a minute maybe. So yes.
Yep. You just keep
Staying there, I guess. Just keep. Actually, I could down a health potion because I did lose like 5 HP.
Yeah.
From my main health, and considering it wasn't a lot to begin with.
Yeah. I will say you have to roll a 2d4 plus 4 for that because you're using it as a bonus action rather than the whole.
I just remembered that I was planning to use Fiendish Vigor again, but I forgot because I got distracted.
Okay. I mean,
but no.
Yeah, I'm afraid you've already used your turn. I can't.
Yeah, I've already. No, I know I've already used my turn.
Sorry.
So,
I'd love to let you do over, but then I'd have to do that with everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The health potion. You know what? Screw it. I'm using the health potion because I'm guaranteed to use the. Anyway.
It's a good idea.
Didn't lose too. Yeah, good idea. I'm doing that. So that's 2d4 plus 4.
Yep, that's correct.
2d4 plus 4.
It tastes like strawberry.
That is yeah. That is absolute. Anyway, we're nearing the end anyway, so.
Yep, 10. Nice. Okay.
10.
Yeah, you
That's
recover
twice as much as I need.
It's fine.
But okay.
You recover all that fake health that you have or haven't, as it were. And you feel much better. And Tobias, it is your turn. There are no other hyenas or weasels. There is just this damn big snake. You have controlled the train, and you have this snake that is like emotionally in a bad state. Like this snake is messed up right now.
He's gonna need therapy.
You just terrorized.
There's no therapy here. There's only death.
Or maybe he shouldn't have. Maybe he should not have hidden in the like fuel carriage.
Mm-hmm. I'm also going to tell you something.
That's not what it's called.
I'm also going to tell you something interesting about that fuel in a bit, but that will happen on the engineer's turn. I think it would be fair to say.
Well, I'm gonna get on the third carriage then. Where exactly is the engineer?
The engineer he's on the coal carriage, basically. He's on that.
Okay, well, I'm getting on. I'm using my movement to get near him and give him my half potion because he needs him.
Oh, bless you.
And I haven't yet taken damage.
Question. This is for you, Lucky Jack. Like, you're maintaining this illusion. Did the engineer and Tobias have to roll?
No, they do not. It's only the snake who sees it.
It's only the snake. That's good to know. Okay, that's great.
Ooh.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to make you roll to do that. That's just your movement. You just do that.
Okay, and I'm gonna use my action to use Dissonant Whisper. Because it has a range of 60 feet.
Nice. Okay, you do that? Remind me what I have to do. Yep. Is it wisdom or?
It's wisdom saving throw.
Okay, yep, that's good. 12, does that do it?
Does it?
I can't remember what the saving mark is that you told me.
It's wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
Isn't it like 14?
I think it was 14, but I can't remember. It's been like 3 hours, dude. I'm gonna say like it is. Yeah, fine. He doesn't succeed.
He fails it.
Fails it.
Well, I mean, he's already traumatized.
He is! There's also this amazing scene happening because the thing is, this snake thinks the coal carriage is on fire. The engineer surviving these flames is one thing, which is very impressive. But then you just clamber up and mosey on over and give him a health potion and then say shit to him again. And he's like, what are these people made out of? He's so frightened of you guys.
Oh god.
He's like,
I have an idea for Jack's turn.
okay, we'll see when we get there. But yeah, presently we are still in Tobyland. Oh, and he takes 15 of damage. That's a hot slice of... Oh my gosh, this guy is actually going to check into therapy after this, I swear.
If he's still alive, that is.
Yeah, he's like... you can tell, like, initially he was trying to, like... keep his cool, like, even though he was very distressed, the snake was, doing the hard-ass form of panicking. Like, oh shit, I'm on fire, not, oh shit, I'm on fire! Now he's just like, and he's like, actually, like, his rattle tail starts shaking involuntarily. It's like his natural instinct to scare you away has kicked in. And he's like, actually, he's seriously frightened of you. He's scared of you, Tobias. Like, everybody on this train is frightening, but, like, you just are the coolest cat.
Yes!
Well, I mean, Mud, he must immediately use his reaction if available to move as far as his feet allows away from me.
Yeah, it is, the snake is very much backing away. I will do that on its turn, however.
Dissonant whisper, I just say, run.
Okay.
Run!
In fact, you know what? Like, I think we've reached a point. I'm really sorry, Jack, because you said you had a thing, but I think this is just how it wraps up, because it's the engineer's turn. And my god, like, Toby, he just really wants to give you a hug, but he can't because they're in the middle of a scene and they have to play it. And he just, like, gestures widely, demonstrating, like, they have the train. You have no minions left. And he's just like, get off my train. Very quietly. And the snake does. And the snake gets off the train. Sorry.
Can Mark say one last thing in the intercom system?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Mark is just like, out of nowhere, he's been watching the whole scene, and he's like, know our names and fear them.
Okay, yeah, that's the last thing this snake hears, and it just bails. It bails, and you see this enormous, like, dragon-like figure just give you, like, he looks very frightened, but also kind of deeply respect. Like he respects you all, because he was not expecting any of you to make any sort of imprint on him, and yeah, he just goes. He just goes, and you see this Sidewinder disappearing into the desert, receding into, like, the scale of a normal snake before disappearing into the dust, and you have completely won. You have solved my train heist riddle. Congratulations, everybody!
Wait, just a little thing. Tobias was looking extremely serious during his last action, and then immediately when the snake runs off, Tobias turns around and is just like, yeah!
Oh!
Yeah! We did it!
You know what? The engineer just can't resist this. He gives you a hug. He jumps up and gives you a hug. He says, you are fantastic! The whole lot of you. You are all hired. You are all hired forever. You're not allowed. Exclusivity deal. I am not letting anybody else have you. And he's like hugging you and patting you on the back. And it almost gives you damage.
Mark is still driving the train.
Yeah.
Until the engineer comes replace him.
Something weird happens while you're driving the train, because you didn't pull the train's whistle, but the whistle goes off, and it sounds very happy.
March pulled the whistle again.
Willow obliges, and Willow is very, very happy and is making, very solid. He's like, yes. And yeah, you continue on your journey. Jack, I think it's fair for you to have a say. Like, how do you respond to this? I'm so sorry that you didn't get to do your thing. I don't know what it was. But...
Oh no, it's fine. It was just that I just remembered that I have Fae presence.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
To give the snake one more spook.
This snake
Yeah,
is.
enough.
I will say, like, if any of you ever encounter this snake again, he's already going to have disadvantage against you. He's going to be, like, super scared of you. Oh my gosh. You hard asses. So yeah, you continue on your journey, you ride the train back to Dodo Studios' station, because there is a station for this studio, because that's what the engineer does, man. Do you, like, what do you do? Like, you've won. You've done the game. This is great.
March definitely goes to hug every person he sees, and that includes Jack, the engineer, and Tobias.
I'm giving hugs too. That was great.
Jack makes
We
like
need
a squeaky toy noise when hugged. He's not a very huggy. He's not a very huggy person.
Oh, bless. That's really cute. The engineer is a very huggy person once you get to know him, in fact. So yes, there's much backslapping and hugs, and all the owls and the crows are ecstatic. They got Willow back. They got some really good footage. And then you hear the flapping of wings, like 3 sets of wings. And then you hear... And there are 3 vultures with briefcases walking towards you. And the engineer's ears kind of flop back on his head. He's like, oh, no, you don't. And the lead vulture says,
I think, in fact, that ipso facto, we do, Mr. Engineer. We're very grateful to you for returning the property that we possess, but I'm afraid we will be having to take that train back. But thank you again very much for your obliging services. And
Mark is holding his great axe, just ready for combat.
here's the thing.
So you are not taking this train back after all we've been through.
2 of the vultures
You
disappear
did
behind the...
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, the 2 of these
You
vultures...
don't get to have this train again.
They do all look slightly reproached by this, apart from the front vulture, who's just a ballsy, badass guy. He's not nice. He's very tall, actually, this guy. And the other 2 vultures kind of hide behind him in a sort of, you can't get it, sort of way. But what I want you all to do now is, you have to basically get there before the engineer does, because he's gonna, like, cause himself more trouble by beating the shit out of these guys if he's allowed, because he's so angry. So you can do anything. You can roll intimidation, you can do persuasion, you can do an intelligence roll to see if there's some legal mumbo-jumbo you can come up with, but you have to fend off these vultures. That is the last thing that you have to do. So first of all, I think March, because you did the threatening, I want you to roll intimidation.
Alright, I don't actually have a good intimidation. I think I have +0, so just a straight D20.
Let's see if the gods of the dice like you today. 6.
Aw.
Yeah, they've heard it all before. They have, bailiffs are, like, they have to deal with this kind of stuff a lot, so they aren't actually particularly intimidated by you, and they know that if you attack them, they will have very strong legal leverage to not give you back that train. And then I think, Tobias, you were also saying something. How would you like to approach this?
I'm using persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
A 13!
Does that?
Yeah, well, it starts to edge away at them. Do you want to, like, continue what you were saying? Because you said they, like, did nothing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, like, we fought a band of Hyenas and Weasels and a giant venomous snake. And what did you do? Nothing. You just come in at, like, when no more threat is on the train, just to say, oh, we're taking this back. No, you don't get to have it. If you want this train, you need to earn it. Like, at this point.
When you mention the giant venomous snake, the 2 in the background kind of look at each other like, what's that? And the one at the front says,
You're just making these things up, and there's no evidence to show that you did all these
heroic things. And the engineer
There are
says,
cameras.
Actually, yes, we have quite a lot. And yeah, there are suddenly like an army of owls bearing cameras and film reels, and also the engineer is waving a wanted poster. And he's like, do you recognize this fella? And it's a picture of Sidewinder Sam, who has quite a bounty. And yeah, they are starting to take you very seriously, these 3 vultures, because they are aware that you have material evidence, and you just saw off a very impressive foe. So, like, the press, if they get hold of this, are not going to be on their side at all. Jack, what do you do?
I'm gonna add to the persuasion, like, and anyway, we don't work for you.
Come on.
Come on, Jack.
That's +4. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna do a coin flip. Maybe.
Yeah, I was hoping you might. Anyway, we'll see. A 14 is
That's
pretty
a
good.
14.
It's up to you. Like, that will probably do it, but if you want to risk it all for an all or nothing roll, it's entirely up to you.
Nah, I'm not gonna go all or nothing.
Yeah. Okay. 14 is good enough, especially piled on top of the mob that's behind you. And yeah, they're aware that you don't work for them, and a lot of people seem to work for the engineer. And you know, the emotional tide has definitely turned in Inkwell in terms of this studio and what it stands for. And they go into a huddle, and you see these bald heads like pop up one at a time, like looking over at you, like, what should we do? What should we do? And you know, the one at the front turns around and pulls at the collar around his neck. He has like no other clothes. He just has a shirt collar and a tie. And,
He says, well, I suppose we can make allowances in these extenuating circumstances. We will discuss it with our employer, however.
and he actually looks really nervous because you know the guy this vulture works for is Scroomacolja, who is a force to be reckoned with and not a boss that you want to go against. But they concede and they say, well, in light of our security features having failed in this particular instance, I think that you may keep custody of the item for the interim. Have a lovely day, gentlemen. And flap, 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 they disappear, and there is repeated hallooing, hurraying, and there is confetti, and somewhere in the background there's a lanky guy in a hoodie who just shrugs and continues sweeping, and just a normal day. And you all did so good. There's so much hugging. And yeah, you did fantastically. You all got, basically, you got sufficient style points, and in terms of the roles you did before all this chaos, you did very, very well individually on, like, acting and stunts and acrobatic acting in Jack's case. So each of you get a 3-movie contract. Like, so you are signed up for 3 movies. But unfortunately, like, the studio is still starting up, so you only get paid 30 gold for your trouble, but you wouldn't have got paid anything for an interview, so like that's kind of something. At least you get a feeling like this was like a someone passed a hat around to pay you guys for like doing all of this. They are really grateful. You all get business cards, which proves you have a connection with the engineer in the studio. You're welcome here anytime, and yeah, you're movie folks now. The best thing that comes out of this, however, is because you are now under the direct private tuition of the engineer, and this means that you all will get advantage on performance roles that are to do with acting. Dancing, not so much. Singing, not so much. But any performance role that is to do with acting, you get advantage.
Yeah.
So now, as a little closing thing, so remember how at the beginning I said that the first reason for March to want to work for the engineer is mainly for the money?
Yeah.
He also wants the engineer to be his teacher.
Yeah. Well, he is. That's actually literally one of the things that happens.
For like barbarian stuff.
Yeah.
For like a fighting dad.
Okay. You'll have to introduce yourself to him. Like, we might do like follow-up game for this. Like, what you guys actually do individually with this guy, because there's a lot.
Yes.
You all individually could get a lot out of this, so that would be fun to explore. And but now it is very late for certain people who are in New Zealand, and that is the ultimate climax of the game. Is there anything else you would like to do? Because you've had hugs and celebrations galore.
So since he didn't use his potion, he returns it to the engineer. Marsh returns his potion because he didn't use it.
No. The engineer pushes it away from you, and in fact, he gives the one that Tobias gave to him back to Tobias, and he's like, call it a little souvenir.
Hey, have you healed yourself?
I'll worry about that later. We've got healers in this studio. I'll be fine.
No, no, heal yourself right now.
He's like, he actually doesn't look too bad. Like, this guy has a lot of hit points, but he's very touched that you are concerned for him at all. So no, he actually just refuses.
In-house tailors perhaps to do something about this, and Jack kind of like gestures to the slashes on his coat.
He's like, who's got mending cantrip? You? Yeah, come over here. And one of the owls casts mending on your cape, and it's fine.
Excellent.
Magic users cannot get enough of them.
Jack does a twirl.
You don't know how the engineer
Just a
managed to
little.
wink at you when he doesn't have any eyes, but he did.
Marsh is clapping.
Okay.
Just a little thing later when they're back at the studio and Tobias left. It's just outside of the studio and everything inside can hear him scream in joy.
Oh.
Because he didn't get to, because he was near people. He didn't want to deafen them.
I think that's the best scene we can like freeze on. Like you go out this side and do this deep sigh, and then you just go, "Ee!" and it freeze frames on Tobias like squealing with joy. And that's the end of the game. Credits roll. You all did so well. This was a completely bonkers game. I didn't know how it was going to go, but I think that went absolutely perfectly. It was really fun. Oh,
This was a fun
That
one.
was a very cool game.
thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy this was my first game.
I can't believe that was your first game. You did really, really well.
Yay!
Yay. And again, I'm always sorry for bungling like spell rolls or forgetting what things do, but I'm like juggling 20,000 things in my brain, so call me out on that shit and correct me anytime, because I'm very grateful to be told what to do. This was great. I think we're gonna wrap it up, so everybody say goodbye.
Bye!
Bye!
Goodbye. See you guys next time. Woo!